What do you mean?
We're not.
Dude.
And we're recording, so
I know.
This is your
We're
job.
not a business yet, though.
we're recording.
It's not a job, though.
We're live, Nicole.
Are we fucking Sam!
We can restart if you want.
No. I was going to say something incriminating.
Bro, what are you saying? What is Film Crawl doing
really
behind closed doors?
But I thought that was really funny.
So my name is Vincent Svengali.
What you know about it?
Well, that's always there's always a weird intro in our
That's
in
our
show.
first fun one of 2020.
But
Really,
special guest on today, guys, as you heard in the intro. If you're watching on YouTube, he's the one way over there. Usually Nicole, you sit at the end. Do we sit next to each other?
No,
like this?
Sawyer sat there too.
Okay.
I watched
Yeah.
the episode that you guys had Savannah on last night in kind of preparation.
She was on there.
She was on the
Yeah.
left side.
Yeah.
It is
We
Alex
don't got a special seat yet.
Toschi. Did I say it right?
That's right.
Toschi. He
The
is an employee at Changing Hand Bookstore where we record in
Coworker.
Phoenix. Coworker of Nicole's, and you guys, both of you guys, really wanted to do Parasite. So
I got Sam onto it, man.
I wanted to see it. I 100% did. I tell you, I drove 40 miles to the theater that was playing
Wow.
He did.
the show. So
That's a commitment right
but
there.
good
That's
shit
commitment for
came
the
out of it.
pod.
At least I didn't walk out of it and I was like, that was a waste of time.
That's true. I
That's-
would have gotten it in text.
But
Like, come on.
but I heard really good things, and you guys,
Yeah, we saw it together. So
Yeah.
I was very curious about what your opinion was going to be. Like,
Yes, me
I
too.
like it.
Same.
But save it, bro.
Yeah.
I
but
harassed
awesome.
everybody at the bar about this movie.
You
Like
did.
I harassed a lot of people.
You really,
Well,
you got
on
the whole,
Instagram,
the
I got
whole
it all
convoy
down,
there,
you
man.
know?
All
Like,
4 of us.
It's my people. I gotta
It was
represent.
Korean, Bong Joon, and we
Yeah.
did Snowpiercer. So this close to Nicole's heart, and I totally understand
Yeah.
that. When Chris Nolan drops a movie, I'm out there.
Yeah, it's like Tenet. Sam's all over me. Like, are you seeing it opening night? Are you seeing it at midnight?
I'm
All
planning
right.
a trip to LA, dude.
Where's the invite though? Carol
can-
lost in the mail or what?
Yeah, she didn't. Carol, you didn't tell her.
We said she was still at the job.
Damn it, dude. Damn it.
It's so hard to get good help for your podcast.
Really though? Do you know anybody?
Yeah,
to drive you to LA.
we're hiring.
Are you a connect? Can you do it?
Am I the plug?
We're hiring right now, so yeah, Carol, it is your last day.
Oh,
No, just kidding.
shit.
No,
Just
people
on
love
air.
Carol. People
Yeah.
love Carol.
Everyone's always asking, "Where's Carol?"
We have
Last door, oh my
Unit.
God.
We have Unit.
Unit. He's our new bodyguard.
He's our bodyguard.
I'll tell you about it later.
You didn't see him walking in? Was he not at the door?
Oh yeah, that huge guy with tattoos. Yeah, he gave me a lot of rough
Side eye?
treatment. Is it-
Treatment, bro. He's doing
gotta
that
talk to him.
massage thing again.
We gotta talk to him.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll get there.
I felt like the body check was a little unnecessary, but
Well,
you guys gotta
you
get
know,
like some guest passes.
you
like,
never
I'm not-
know.
We need
Yeah.
merch.
Yeah,
We
I'm
need
not,
merch.
I'm not on like the tier where I get the lanyard with like the get through
The
all
behind-
security
behind
doors.
You're
closed.
right. We'll work on that.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad. For just initial reactions, I think we all liked the movie.
You're like warring with yourself in your mind almost of like how to talk about this movie. I feel like.
Oh, don't get too deep into it yet, because
Okay,
I can totally
But
bounce off that.
We
But
can't
let's-
open it up yet.
let's-
It's just so much. There's so
Yeah.
much to unload.
But if someone was like 1 second, yes or no, what are you gonna say?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Definitely.
cool.
Definitely
I think
really
we're all on the
liked it.
same
Oh,
page
yeah.
there.
Sam's
let's
on
crack
it with
these
that
open.
beer, man.
Let's crack these. Oh God, dude, all over the equipment.
No, always. That's how the best pods begin, man.
That's how my paycheck.
We
I
got
know,
the
right?
carbonic Daucus here.
Oh yeah, we gotta lift it up to the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to
No.
Helton Brewing. From
Hey. Damn, Alex is taking my job, bro.
Yeah, bro. You're gonna have to make him sign that NDA, dude.
Phoenix.
Come
Get
on,
the goddamn
what the
script
hell?
before the show.
I'm so bad with promoting these beers. I feel so
As
bad.
always, unscripted. I mean, you heard about we can figure out what makes yellow.
That's how. Oh, yeah, that's how you know.
Oh yeah.
So.
How does one yellow?
When you listen to Rise, you'll.
Oh, have you
you'll
not
know.
listened to the Rise
He
episode
hasn't
yet?
seen Rise.
Oh, you haven't even
Yeah.
seen.
So
Okay,
me
we'll
and
keep that
my
off.
fiance and I are doing a Star Wars
Yeah.
binge.
Okay.
She hasn't seen any Star Wars.
Oh.
This is the first year where she's getting.
I'm proud of
Star
her.
Wars.
I haven't even met her. I'm proud of her.
She's been hanging in, and
That's big
she's
moves.
been. We just watched The Force Awakens, so we're really
Ooh.
close.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, you guys.
Yeah, we
are
haven't
right
seen
around the
Almost
corner.
Solo,
there.
and we haven't seen The Last Jedi.
Did you watch Rogue One?
Yeah, Rogue One. It might be my favorite Star Wars movie, actually.
Dude, seriously. At least out of the new shit, like
Yeah.
that's the best one
For
right,
real.
so far. They're already
what-
talking 2022.
What colors do make green or yellow? What did
Dude,
we?
why are you on the
I'm
Yellow's
just
the primary
asking.
color.
What did we
Nothing
come
makes
to?
yellow.
What? Oh, that's right.
It's like the
that's
Holy
right.
Trinity, the Father, the
And I
Son,
said, I did say
and the
that.
Holy Ghost, red, blue,
I
and
did
yellow.
say that in the episode. I think that
we were
red,
like, I don't
yellows,
know.
yeah.
What did I say? Like
I
blue
just
and
wanted to
green?
make sure what colors make what color.
You can get orange.
No, you can't. You cannot get orange. Am I right?
You guys are like a bunch of juggalos over here. Next thing you know, you're going to be asking about how fucking magnets work.
How do magnets work,
We
bro?
really will. That's our 6 Underground episode.
You know, how do these magnets even work, bro?
Just a button on your phone and
No,
snap.
but people love it. I mean, we put a vote out there. I was like,
People
would
love
you-
us being dumb?
Yeah, I was like, would you
Yeah.
rather us edit it out or
Yeah.
what? And people were like,
We can't
no.
do math. Yeah, so
We don't do
even
any
ask.
edits. I
raw
know
and
pods
filter
that
is-
edit likes and us. So when I'm
Yeah.
sitting here like, oh, it was like, you remember like, okay, and I really ruined the whole experience for everyone listening now because every time we say that word,
We don't
they're
say
gonna,
it a
It's
lot.
gonna
We really
trigger.
don't.
I know, but I was listening to a podcast, right, and they were
no.
talking about it, and they were saying like every time someone says like,
Yeah.
you know, like
Well, yeah.
we're gonna edit it out. That rest of that podcast, anytime someone said like, I was freaking out. I had to turn it off.
Let's start a like counter.
It's a psychology thing, I think. Like
what would they edit it out with? Like maybe like
they literally cut it. So every time I say like, they would just
so there's just
clip
like
it.
a gap.
yeah.
Really?
Mike.
Yeah, you got to get used to holding the mic.
Yeah,
that is the
yeah.
first
Here.
thing. That is the first thing.
I'll go like
There,
90s R&B
please.
crooner style the whole podcast.
That's
We're
the
in
first
confessional
thing.
right now.
That's the first thing we're gonna buy, dude, with Patreon.
Arms.
yeah.
Is mic arms that will. You don't even have to touch it. You don't even have to do nothing. It's just gonna sit in front of your face. So
I'm ready.
right there.
if you guys listen to the 2019 review episode, Patreon is coming. Before this episode, Nicole and I move fast, okay?
yeah, we're like
And we said
we're on a roll.
March. It's going to be earlier than March.
Oh.
yes.
It's going to be February.
February is my month.
Yeah.
For more
So we're going to
reasons
drop
than
it
one.
February. So there's
It's
your
my
behind
birthday,
Black
y'all.
History Month is your month.
there's your behind the scenes.
All right, it's
So-
my birthday month too.
Oh, okay. Fair
The
enough, fair
the page will be up within January, which means you can sign up to be a patron within January,
Check
but you
it out.
won't get the exclusive episode until February. So if you want to just, I guess, drop $5 and help us out right away, or you don't want to forget, I'm sure all you're going to hear is about Patreon. I mean, that's kind of how it was when we dropped YouTube
Man,
too. So
That's just how you. And we did it, man. We did it. Oh yeah, and you're okay being filmed, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
no, we're gonna
Halfway
What
through
is
pod.
that?
Yeah.
Get that out of here.
let's digitalize
It's
it
like
out.
my phone's like on my chest, like just.
What's
I'll
the
cover the voice, just black me out.
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
the
you like the movie?
what's the nude thing? Like we just digitalize him out, like
Yeah.
pixelate him.
Sims.
Yeah,
It's just-
pixelate me.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking a shower right now.
It's just like
No woohoo during the podcast.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
if you're
no.
watching on YouTube, Alex is not naked. He just didn't want to be shown. So.
Well, from the waist down.
Yeah. Okay. That's why. Hence the black tablecloth. We got you covered. You know.
But yeah, again, Alex, thanks for being on.
Thank you guys for having me.
I'm so excited.
I've been very excited to do this.
We're stoked about it, and we're getting that January goal of our guests.
You fulfilled it. One per month.
We want to
You're
do
it.
one per
Wow.
month.
You're the special-
So
and
you're,
you're
the
the
first
first one.
and first of 2020. So
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah,
It's
this
special.
is big. This is a big year for you guys. It's fun to be a part of this.
Are you down with Patreon? Are you like?
I follow. I have some Patreons that I
No, you subscribe.
that I
to some?
subscribe to. It's mostly like lower tier stuff, just like getting extra like content off
Right.
of like YouTubers that I like, and for that reason, like it's awesome. To,
Mhm.
I definitely recommend the Patreon model,
Yeah.
and it helps you guys out.
We
too.
hope it helps out. I mean, we just at least need to have like some sort of. It sounds shitty, but like some sort of income to be able to get like those mic bars and stuff.
If you're
Yeah.
good at
'Cause some-
something, don't do it for free, man.
Yeah, because some of those things cost quite a bit. So
And the
um,
the
We wanna
show
keep
only
doing
gets
it.
better. Like,
Yeah.
The more you guys,
the crawlers,
viewers like
yeah.
you. Yeah, like
So,
yeah, the
That's
show gets
promo,
better,
yeah.
more segments.
did you
guys
have a
lot of
chance
good
to listen
ideas.
to 2019 review? I mean,
I saw it.
It's been a day. So.
I wanted to watch a podcast episode, or watch a podcast episode. I wanted to watch and listen to one of the episodes where you guys had a guest on.
Mm.
He subscribed to YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He's
thank
on
you,
there.
thank
I,
you.
I liked,
True
commented,
fan.
and subscribed. Well, I didn't comment. but-
Okay, yeah, come on. With those
Dude, the
comments,
Holy
we gotta hype
Trinity,
it up,
bro.
man.
Yeah, there you go.
Like,
Put it
comment,
up
subscribe.
there.
Awesome. Well, let's get into Parasite. You guys brought me this donut, though.
Oh, you didn't eat it.
I'm
You're
gonna
about to
eat
have
it.
crack mouth.
While you guys are talking, I'm gonna be pounding this down.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Should we
like a
talk
full
about
football.
our experience going to see it?
Yeah, we need to talk
It was
about.
quite fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Where did you guys?
We
see it?
supported local.
We did. We supported a local theater.
Yeah.
Shout out to Film Bar in Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
And I knew, like I said, I was harassing basically all of my friends at the bar
Yeah.
that like go see this movie, one, and then two, I was like, oh, it's definitely gonna come out at Film Bar. Like we for sure are gonna see it there. And a couple weeks later, it's up, and I sent out that group text, and I was that annoying friend.
You made it
so
happen, man.
I'm sorry, guys,
You
but
have
look
no
where
reason to apologize.
look what it brought us.
You're crazy.
It's so good.
That was
We're
a
here
fantastic
now.
time.
It was really fun.
I
yeah.
didn't go to Film Bar.
Us.
And that was the
yeah.
second movie we saw at Film Bar together.
Yeah, we saw Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit together,
Another good
like
movie.
a week and a half
Yeah.
before
That's
that or
a
something like
Oscar.
that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But man, I felt like that was my second time seeing it. So
Oh, it was.
it was.
Oh,
Yes.
that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Um,
you're the only one that's seen it twice here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice. A lot of weight is on my shoulders. My
Bring-
ancestors are looking
You
down
need
at
to
me
bring
like,
full. You need to bring full insight and detail to
Do
our
not
me,
mistake.
dishonor
guys.
your family.
Fuck me. Okay, I'm the new live action Mulan. All right. She's
Dishonor
Chinese
on.
though. I know.
Dishonor on you cow.
Dude, I heard there's some controversy with her.
There is. Let's not get into
We'll
it.
not talk about it. Just Google Mulan controversy.
China and controversy.
But I
Well,
know.
with the actress in particular.
Yeah.
okay,
Because she's
okay.
supporting the strikes or something. Or
She's supporting the government.
yeah,
so
the
a
riot.
lot of
yeah.
people.
Oh, good for
yeah.
her.
No, against the riots.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So
It's a bummer.
literally
Let's
everyone.
edit that out.
Yeah. So
No, we're
literally,
good.
good for her.
Shit.
So literally everyone, like I saw an ad on
Yeah.
Facebook for it, and I went to the comments because comment sections where it's like,
That's
on
where you-
anything.
Yeah.
And I knew this was happening, so there's like thousands of comments. Every single one was just, I'm boycotting this movie, like fuck
Yeah.
Disney.
Well, also fuck Disney anyway. Like
they
their
took
live action
Mushu
shit.
out, bro.
exactly, they
Wait,
made him a
what the
phoenix.
f-
Yeah,
Yeah.
they made him a phoenix.
Okay, well, like,
Wait, he's in it.
I didn't want to be
No.
that guy, but I unapologetically hate like every Disney live
Yeah.
remake.
Well,
They're
that's fine.
all
Absolutely.
hot
Did you
garbage.
see Lion King? I haven't seen it yet.
I saw it.
I refuse to see it. The only one I went and saw,
This donut.
I saw
Actually,
it because
no.
I have a niece. I have a niece.
I saw
so-
two of them. I liked Jungle Book, ironically.
Oh right,
like
right.
seeing,
But
seeing,
that was.
John Favreau.
It was.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is it called Jungle Book or is that the other one?
No, it's called
They
Jungle
made
Book.
two.
There's the
Mowgli.
Mowgli, the Netflix thing. That is not John Favreau. I forget who did that one.
Mm.
And it's also not
But
Disney.
that looks good too. Yeah,
right?
that's
Yeah.
not Disney affiliated.
See, I saw Mowgli, but not Jungle Book.
Oh, Jungle Book's pretty good.
There's a pretty
yeah.
good SNL cowbell reference in there.
In Mowgli.
In Jungle Book, the Disney remake.
Oh
So
my
King
gosh.
Louis is Christopher Walken.
Right.
And he's like, he's not just a regular orangutan. He's like that, like
He's king orangutan.
He's giant.
Yeah.
he's an extinct
King Louis.
subspecies
Got it.
that's like
He's
was like
King
10
Louis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He picks up a cowbell, like, and it's voiced by
Oh,
Christopher Walken.
I didn't notice that at
the
all.
stupidest, subtlest thing, but I was like, I like that.
John likes to throw those like little nods in there.
I
love it.
I like John Favreau.
He's a
lot.
fun director for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's gonna be head of Lucasfilm pretty soon.
He better be.
He
Shit, someone's got to
deserves
be.
it. Yeah, someone's
Yeah.
gotta do this.
Someone's got to do it.
Someone's gotta take Kathleen Kennedy out of there. Someone's gotta work for one.
Yeah, for real. Someone's got to have a cohesive script.
Piece of script.
Shit.
Or just like
Brr, brr, brr,
a
brr.
script at all.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
Yeah.
or a plan.
Just a map,
you know.
a storyboard.
Yeah. It's
That's
definitely like a
cool.
multifaceted thing, but she definitely she should have had an idea. Like,
Yeah.
Give George Lucas all the shit you want, but at least there was a beginning, middle, and
Oh,
end
of
to
course.
the
Exactly.
sequels.
Yeah.
There was actually story there.
Yeah.
So,
But
well,
sorry to go back to this movie because it's. I think we're gonna go into a little bit about what genre it kind of fits into. But our theater
yeah.
laughed a lot, which
It's-
there
it's
is
a dark
comedy in
comedy,
here for
Dude.
sure.
predominantly.
It's
It is
funny,
funny.
but like.
It's
It is
funny
funny.
as all hell.
Yeah, there were some moments where I was like, "Oh, they're laughing like really
Yeah.
cool." Okay,
Mhm.
and it's like it was like white people, you know. It's just always fun as like a person of color to go to a movie of like I went to see Crazy Rich Asians and like the theater was all white except for me and my sister.
Right. Well, that's
so
like
it's
the
just
whitest Asian movie ever made.
true, exactly. But like with Parasite, there were a lot of. It was like I didn't
and
see another
also
Asian. That's for sure.
Scottsdale.
Phoenix, Arizona.
You're right.
I mean, I'm not trying to.
I
I'm not
mean,
trying to poo-poo
we're-
on your
we're tr-
ideas here, but I see what you're trying.
Also,
but you know what I'm saying.
Scottsdale.
But also like it was just white people. I didn't see like
Hmm.
anybody else. Honestly, like it was white people.
Let me
It's just
tell you-
interesting to me.
I was in Scottsdale,
Your
I
age
went,
demographic. I'm sorry.
bro. I was.
So why are you trying to come at him like this?
It was Ford v Ferrari all over
Yeah,
again.
right.
Like I was the youngest by 30 years, minimum.
Yeah.
Me, Brooke, and my friend Brandon went with us. And first off, I was really worried that Brandon wouldn't enjoy it because it's
Oh, yeah, that's right.
subtitled.
Brandon, I forgot.
And he was like,
Ford versus Ferrari?
no,
No.
Parasite.
Oh,
We're talking
oh,
about
him
Parasite.
saying
Sorry.
Parasite,
I was
yeah.
just saying the demographic was like that again.
Gotcha.
And we were in this tiny ass theater, probably held like 30 people. You know, like those ones that are only like 2 rows basically.
Yeah.
It was like the smallest theater I've ever been in. Besides seeing Anthropoid. Have you ever seen that?
No, what the fuck movie is that?
I'll talk about it later. Cillian Murphy.
Oh, yeah.
Great movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
great
so
movie.
that's actually a really underrated role for him, too.
Super good.
Dude, Cillian. Kills it.
Anyways,
Is it Cillian? I always thought it was Chilean.
I
See,
think
I say
Cillian.
Yeah, I say Cillian.
Does it mean Quiet
Why
Place?
Cillian?
That's the Italian in me. C-I.
It's
yeah.
Chilean.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's
But
not
isn't
his
Oh,
name.
Chow. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
But we were the youngest by a couple, like 20, 30 years. Dude, and the theater cracked up.
Really?
Like people were laughing. I was like, "Damn, this is gonna be weird."
It
Like
didn't
I
turn
feel,
into a coughing
yeah,
fit?
I felt like people were gonna be like mad.
Yeah.
Also, I was like, "Dude, these people know it's subtitled." Like
Right.
I was kind of
You
like,
were rolling in with the cast of The Irishman. dude.
yeah, like I was, and they weren't aged down
They really
from
were.
Netflix. But it was a good theater experience. Besides,
For
during
once.
the previews,
Oh, yeah.
it was packed. Like they sold this whole little theater out.
Represent.
And during the previews, you know, they're like these old ladies were like yelling at each other because there was no seats. So
Because yelling's going to solve.
they were like,
Where'd they end up sitting?
I can't find a seat because it was
Oh
like dark
my
and shit. And I was,
Jesus
and then they were like, can you guys move over? And then the
Oh,
person was like,
no.
my husband's like in the bathroom or whatever. And it was just like this whole thing. I was like, Jesus. But, you know, I wasn't too mad because previews in an indie film, you get indie previews. So I wasn't too invested in the previews.
Gotcha.
Oh,
But-
my God. That fucking Vagabond trailer
Oh
that we
my
saw.
Which one?
at Film Bar.
I'll talk
Oh, was
about
there
it
like a
after you
different-
finish
yeah.
your
Yeah,
story.
so I wasn't like too interested, but if it was, you know, like
Yeah.
if it was Endgame or some shit,
Right,
you see
right.
like you see like Rise of Skywalker trailer or
Yeah.
something, and you're like, shut the fuck up. This is
Yeah,
more
yeah.
important than the damn
There was
movie.
Tenet rolling up. you
Yeah,
know?
Tenet was a huge one for me too, but yeah, I think it was overall good, and people enjoyed it, and I love Bong Joon's speech in the Golden Globes. They won Best
Killed
Foreign
it.
Film,
Mhm.
which it deserves. I think it deserves screenplay, but
Also
Quentin-
deserved director, honestly.
yeah, Quentin Tarantino won the screenplay for
We're not mad at that.
Golden Globe.
Yeah.
His speech was kind of weird though.
It
man.
was a little weird, but like also
Did you
give-
see his speech?
give credit to
I-
yourself.
He won Best Screenplay.
I did not watch the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
The Golden Globes have always been like one that like I enjoy,
Mhm.
but I don't feel the need like
the need to watch it.
Yeah, like I kind of put the Oscars on a pedestal. Like that's my night. To
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
Well,
just,
let me
like,
tell.
enjoy
This
film
is the
because-
first time I've ever watched the Golden Globes, actually.
Oh.
So
From front to end.
from front
yeah,
to
we were,
end, like I've always
try
caught
to
it in the
text each
middle
other.
or like in the end.
Same.
But his speech, he was like, "Yeah, usually you thank a bunch of people for like helping write the screenplay and stuff, but I wrote it myself, so I guess I have no one to thank." I was just, I don't know, it kind of. I get that.
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
that, but also he also sounds
It's
like
also
a douche
Quentin.
sometimes.
Like he spit on someone at the
Tarantino-
Oscars.
That's
Tarantino is definitely a mixed bag.
he's his own
Yeah.
breed, so it
yeah,
doesn't.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
you're gonna like his dickish comments like on one hand, and then on
Yeah.
one hand it's gonna seem like the most.
I'm like, come on, bro.
socially
You
awkward
Slimy,
shit.
you
yeah.
definitely approached someone about your movie. Like you weren't like hermited away writing it. by
Oh,
yourself.
got you. Yeah.
You know, like there was someone you talked to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, he does like writing room
Yeah.
things. Like the whole Hateful Eight started from
a group.
reading a script like a stage play.
Mm.
And
right.
they were all like, dude, you got to make this into a movie.
Right.
Like, so he's full of shit.
Yeah.
He's totally full of shit.
Apparently,
Yeah.
this one he
But
wrote
when you have
from
fuck
start
you
to
money,
finish.
nobody's gonna call you out.
Yeah,
Exactly.
otherwise,
You're on
except
your
So-
ninth
some
film.
obscure person on the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
But
Tell
Bong
us-
Joon, man, yeah, he
he had a great speech. He's
he
like,
said
if
fuck
you,
you to.
if you can get over the little hurdle, like he said, that's what it was translated. As.
He said 1 inch. Yeah.
The 1 inch hurdle of the subtitles, you're gonna open your mind up to new possibility or like
To great films.
Great films. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's just a call for everything, like anime, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
different
I
types
watched
of
that,
things.
and I
So-
really appreciated that because I love foreign film.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
of my favorite directors are not English speaking directors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're they have their quirks and stuff. I mean, but all American films have that too.
Right. They're
Um,
more like I feel foreign films, not just Korean films, even though Korean films can be
You're
brutal.
Korean, right?
Yes, I'm half.
Oh,
Yeah, have I never told you?
Not once has this ever come up at the bar.
God, Alex says it all the time so convincingly that I think he doesn't know. So I'm always like, oh, because I force it down everyone's throat that I'm half Korean.
Just wear a pin that says like I'm Korean.
New merch.
You gotta be proud of your culture, especially when people
just
from
the
Korea
little
are
heart,
making such great movies.
The little heart. You know what? We fucking are. There's some good movies out there. There's some good Korean movies, music, and we're working on it. We're working on it. I know we're not going there. That's
K-pop?
your podcast. That's
K-pop.
Yeah, K-pop.
It's huge though.
I know. Don't go there. Don't
They had
don't
K-pop
get Alex started.
They
don't
had
get
K-pop
Alex
at the
started.
New Year's, bro. I mean, like in Times Square, like this shit's real.
I see the appeal. Like,
Yeah.
there's definitely some K-pop I like. I think like all things, it's the
I like
behind
Korean
the
rap.
scenes stuff.
Korean rap stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I like.
Definitely. And there's some Korean solo artists out there that are putting out some really good stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I get you.
You had your what trailer did you guys see that
Oh
you
my
were
gosh,
saying?
yeah.
Before we get into
shout out
this.
again to Film Bar.
Yeah, if you guys know film,
Yeah.
if you're from Arizona, you'll know Film Bar.
The only reason the Vagabond trailer thing came up because it played before Parasite, but it also played before Jojo Rabbit. And the only reason I bring it up is because I walked into the movie late, halfway through the Vagabond trailer, which is like some obscure indie film. I don't know much about it. I can't speak on whether or not it's a good movie.
French, I think.
But it is playing the most like grating violin music, and it's just one boy walking through
a cornfield,
a dirty dried out cornfield, and I was like, is this the fucking movie?
for like 1 minute there, I was like, shit, did we buy the wrong movie?
Melanie and I were really worried.
Yeah,
we were like,
the scene was like 5 minutes long.
Yeah, and
Am I on?
Taika Waititi is hands down one of my favorite directors right now, and I was like, is this gonna be the one that really doesn't make me?
Wait, he's doing that?
No, but it was it was basically a preview before the movies at Film Bar
only. He made Jojo Rabbit, and I thought
and they were
Vagabond
playing
was
like a
Jojo
5-minute
Rabbit.
clip. And so
so
for
it's like Tenet.
Yeah, for a whole minute I was like, fuck, like did I invite everyone to the wrong movie? I
had
so
no idea what was
bad.
going on. It was so confusing.
They really need to disclose that shit because when I saw Rise in IMAX, they did Tenet.
Oh, that's right.
And it doesn't tell you. It just, they throw up their...
Would you be mad, though, if it was Tenet? Like, you wouldn't be mad at that.
Well, the whole reason I went to IMAX was to watch this. But that's because I follow him on Instagram, on Twitter. And he's like, go to see it on IMAX. You're going to see an exclusive clip. Most people aren't that...
Yeah, no, for sure.
No one goes and watches a Tenet trailer
yeah,
knowing that they're going to give you that snippet like, hey, go see this in IMAX because it's going to be even more.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to know that. So, but they just throw up their normal, like, production company logos and shit, like a normal trailer.
Okay.
And you're like, okay, it's a normal trailer. And then you're sitting there. And like, I could totally understand what you guys were feeling because the people in front of me were feeling the exact same thing. They're like, it's a normal trailer. Okay, no, it's a minute trailer. Okay, it's a 5-minute trailer.
Yeah,
you start looking
and
for the
then then he started looking around. He's like, it's like 8 minutes in. They're like, are we in the wrong movie? They like looked at me. They're like, are we in the wrong movie? I was like, no, don't worry about it. Plus, I was pissed that they interrupted my experience. But
shut the fuck up. It's fine.
But they didn't like. Why don't they just put a text disclosure like, hey, special 8-minute featurette?
Because we're adults, man.
I honestly wish they would just start the movie at the start time and have the trailers before, and just tell people like, hey, if you want to catch the trailers.
Yeah, that's always.
Because I actually try to avoid trailers.
Oh, really?
Whenever possible.
I think trailers are like my favorite part of going to the movie.
Trailers.
I mean, it also depends.
That's
like
how we have
if
this
it's like a Marvel movie or like
you're gonna get good stuff
like
ahead
a
of it.
popcorn flick. Like where I'm like, I'm gonna have a good time. But like nowadays, like trailers.
They kind of suck.
Ruin everything.
Yeah.
They
show the whole movie for sure.
The new Terminator movies, they ruined like the best piece of writing in the new Terminator.
That's why it's hard.
Which is what?
That well, I'm not.
Please, I want to know.
No, don't.
Fucking A.
That's why it's hard though. I mean, the
Dark Fate is really good. It's a return of form for the Terminator franchise.
Really?
That's why I don't want to say anything.
Really?
It's probably like my
I
third
heard
favorite
opposite,
Terminator
dude.
movie.
Okay, well,
I haven't
newest
seen
one?
it though.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen opposite.
Damn, okay.
Yeah. When mics are off, you got to tell me.
Huh?
When mics turn off, you're telling me.
No, don't ruin it for me. But yeah, I mean, Star Wars put out some controversial story plots in their trailers.
Oh my God.
It is hard. I never saw a trailer for Parasite, and it enhanced my viewing experience. So
I actually think that's why I had such a great time because I purposefully try to know as little as possible.
Right.
like everybody was like, "Oh, it's scary. It's a thriller movie."
Yeah.
I even told Melanie like you're not gonna want to see this.
That's why I was trying to tell you like it's not a horror.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's hard.
I had to look. I don't know how it was marketed or not, but like
it kind of is marketed
even on
as a horror.
Wikipedia, it says dark
bit.
comedy / thriller.
Yeah.
So
I could see
but
the
when
thriller.
so I watched the trailer. I think like I hadn't heard of this movie until I heard of it last summer. That it was like getting released internationally and it was getting like a lot of hype.
When it was like the Cannes.
The
like,
Cannes
exactly,
Festival.
yeah.
It got an 8-minute standing ovation.
Yes,
right?
and it was like getting it was released in Asia somewhere and like so I was like, oh okay, like interesting, but I totally forgot about it. And then it started getting released in the U.S. and a friend of mine invited me to the movie because he's really into Korean stuff.
Hey.
I know, ayo. But like, and that was the first time I was like, oh yeah, shit. Like I've been wanting to see, like I've heard of that movie and I wanted to see it. So that's when I watched the trailer, and the trailer really doesn't give anything away. And it's kind of like, I was like, what is this movie gonna be about? Like, it's a good trailer and it like doesn't give a lot away. And so
yeah, I had to look it up too before I took Brooke, my fiance. So
the trailer.
No, I had to look up what it was about because. Her sister had told her like, oh, it won like a horror award or something, and I was like, Nicole saw it and it's not a horror. Like she would have told me because you know how I am with horror too, and I was like, this isn't no Train to Busan or anything. So
exactly.
I looked it up. I was like, babe, look, it's cool because Brooke is like, don't even like, and even at the end of this movie, she was still like.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
Really?
That's
okay.
the problem with qualifying terms though.
Yeah.
Historically, thrillers were horror movies. Like the horror genre was just like a step. Like the next step forward. Like
I enjoy the thriller genre a little bit more, but let's get into like our overall likes and then our dislikes and then our shots we love. Did you prepare a shot you love?
I did.
Okay, don't drop it right now. Okay. But I just wanted to get your brain going if you didn't because sometimes I honestly forget, guys. I come in, I'm like
no, for real.
I'm like shit. I mean, I had like 5, but I didn't really think about it.
This is one movie that it's hard.
Yeah, it is really hard.
Like,
this movie is sequences.
Well, I'm a still photographer, so I love looking at images, and this film is shot like, not to make this comparison like this soon too quickly. It's shot exactly like a Hitchcock film. Like you feel like a voyeur the entire time, like watching in the same room, and everything is so still. Like everything is just.
And linear and very linear.
Yeah, there's some shots I was like, is this a Korean Wes Anderson movie? Because all the characters were like facing forward, and it was set like almost like a diagrammatic kind of like painting.
Yep, I totally agree.
And instead of like,
this is part of my likes, I think.
Instead of like the cut edits, how in some like movies like that where it's like
really abrupt editing. Yeah,
and it's like cuts to the people and like that's used for comedic effect a little bit. Whereas in this movie, it was panning and it was like slow, where it like didn't cut to the next character; it panned over to the next character.
Even in the moments of like extreme duress, like there's some shit going on right now. It was still so slow and meticulous.
It tracked them,
and like sometimes like oh man, I'll talk about this because this is one of my favorite shots. I'm gonna have a few to talk about.
Cool. Awesome. Well, let's go into the likes then.
I mean, I don't have a dislike if I'm being honest. I've tried.
You're already dropping the bombs.
I know. I picked 2 that like when we get there.
Are they nitpickies?
These nitpicking. Like I was like, well, I have to pick one.
But part of my likes is what we're just talking about, like camera movement. I'm a sucker for cinematography. The photography here was awesome as well.
Gorgeous.
So
there was not one bad shot in this entire movie.
Oh, I know.
Oh my God.
I could pick a handful right now that I really love, but I think it added to the flow of the movie. I felt like we were always moving, and there is a moment where the story kind of halts, and maybe that is kind of like my dislike, and it's when they're drinking, when the family leaves.
You have to slow down, though.
I know, and I know it has to be there, but it kind of like threw me out. I don't know why, but
no, I agree with you. I don't dislike it, but I see why you feel that way, because the entire segment before that is the build up to the Peach montage, and that is like a song. That is the most rhythmic structure.
It's beautiful.
Like
it's beautiful.
Oh my God.
The whole montage. That's the best montage you'll ever see.
It's a mini movie in itself.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Because it's foreshadowing like shots that you're gonna see 10 shots.
And it's less
later.
than 10 shots. Yeah, that entire
no,
segment.
it's
50.
It's 50 shots.
No, like it's. I'm sorry, it's less than like 10 like locational.
Oh yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Like,
like it moves like from one room to the next room.
Now,
and it's like less than 10 locations.
Right.
And
oh my God,
places. Now the whole thing is like the whole thing's like 5 minutes. It's about 50 shots. and it doesn't feel like 50 shots. That may sound like a lot, but for a montage, that's really not a lot.
Yeah, when I heard it was 50, I was like, oh shit, like that is a lot. But then like I saw it broken down.
But it's done perfectly. Like I said, a lot of linear camera movement that flows into the next shot. Narration, which works here. It's like needed, obviously, in a montage too. But
it becomes a heist movie.
It does. It does. It's like
change.
You're like watching the whole tone of the movie.
Yeah.
The whole tone. I mean, we were leading up to this moment, and I think that was what's really good about the screenplay is like you're like, okay, he gets the job, the son gets the job, the the sister gets the job, the dad and you know that the mom is definitely gonna get there. But now it just tonally shifts.
So your anxiety is building.
Yeah, and you built it up. How's the mom gonna get it? Especially with like how respected the current maid is and stuff. I just love the whole aspect of the movie. I really think it deserved the screenplay. At least the Golden Globe. I don't know about the Oscar, but
it's gonna be interesting to see if it gets nominated for Best Picture.
I don't.
It's gonna be.
It's probably gonna be in the foreign film. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, Roma is one example of a movie subverting that because
it does.
It's unfortunate because I feel like the Best Foreign Film category really just exists for foreign films that weren't quite good enough to get to that.
But that's what Bong Joon was saying, like in his speech, like get over that barrier. And it's film, it's cinema.
Film is a category. What's one category?
We're all filming. Like we all have this vision and this art. Like what's the difference? What language we speak?
And some of our favorite American directors are more influenced by foreign directors than others.
Absolutely.
And honestly, right now, I'm looking more towards foreign film for what's new and like what's really like taking film to its next thing because I love all the Marvel stuff, all the Star Wars stuff, but I just feel like in America we're kind of in like a sequel.
Martin Scorsese said Marvel's not film. Not film. He's trashed on them, and I totally see where he's coming.
I see his point.
Yeah,
it's a movie. It's not film.
It's not film. It's a movie. Film is an art. That Marvel goes by like a template, right? Like they have ABC.
Of course.
Fill it.
The hero's
make
journey,
a movie.
They warp it.
Film. Martin Scorsese changes the way that we perceive things. Bong Joon obviously can do this. Anyone can do it. It's an art. I love experiencing a movie like this because it really changes your perspective on film as a whole.
And it makes you think about life too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's crazy. Not just an experience that exists in a vacuum. Like it makes you look around the world and your own world, like and
how we treat people and like well, this one in particular was.
And just I watched Joker last night. Finally, for the first time.
I haven't seen it
get
yet.
on that.
And honestly, after seeing Parasite and then watching Joker, like I don't know what it was. Todd Phillips did an amazing job though. Like, goddamn, it is beautiful.
I listened to the soundtrack as weird as that is. The soundtrack's amazing.
It is amazing, and it won.
Composer.
Yeah, she won it. Yeah. She won the Golden Globe. I love she went out all by herself. Yeah, she's German. And I really hope it wins an Oscar for. It's probably gonna win. Joaquin's definitely gonna be on the.
It'd be weird to see two separate actors winning an Oscar for the same role.
Whoa.
Because Heath Ledger won for Joker.
Yeah.
So if Joaquin Phoenix. I think that might actually be the first time in Oscar history.
Yeah.
If like that might actually be a historical thing.
That's a headline.
I definitely think he'll get a nod. I don't know if he'll win.
It's gonna be hard because
Adam.
No. It's either gonna be. It's gonna be
for Kylo Ren.
No.
For Marriage Story.
Marriage Story.
Okay, I was like, calm the fuck down.
No, I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad.
It's definitely gonna be.
My twin brother.
I think it was at least for the Golden Globe. It was between Joaquin and Bale. And I think it's gonna for Ford versus Ferrari, and I think I think that
Bale's a favorite,
dude. And you know, with the fucking Academy,
they love
Bale.
their biopics.
They
man.
do love Bale,
and they love Ford, bro.
They're
gonna be they're gonna be jerking off all over that. So.
But no, I love Joaquin. Like,
dude, you gotta go see. Just go see it. I don't want to hear another peep.
Joaquin Phoenix burned the Academy too. It's interesting to like.
A lot of them did in this Golden Globe too.
Well, he after he won the Oscars, before he made that mockumentary, "I'm Still Here," he flat out said fuck the Oscars.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think he's been nominated since then.
Probably.
So,
well, 'cause after Walk the Line, that was when he was heavily nominated and got that hype. I think probably that.
Which was a great movie. Walk the Line was fantastic.
It's one of my favorite movies ever. Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, so
same director of Ford versus Ferrari.
I'm more of a Walk Hard man myself, but
I have not seen that one.
It's one of the best goddamn musicals of all time. I will fight that to my grave. And Tim Meadows is amazing in that.
Oh fuck, Tim
he's one of my favorite
characters. I love John C.
actors.
Reilly. He's underrated, I think, a little bit.
That's
and
another
Pam
pod. That's another pod.
I know. Pam from The Office.
Yeah, she plays the June Carter Cash.
Okay. Oh, cute.
Let's Duet is a song that her and John C. Reilly sing. It might be one of my favorite songs in a musical.
I'll have to see that.
It's really good. Definitely underrated.
Back to
speaking of sound, we were talking about sound and music and whatever. The soundtrack to this movie,
the score is
you guys said it was very you had a point of it felt like a play, or it was very we were talking about linear shots. The soundtrack felt like a dance between the characters.
It's like a waltz.
Yeah,
like the
a
whole
waltz.
movie.
There we go.
That. It's just
and
a 1-2.
It was very piano and operatic. It was piano heavy and operatic. It was almost like an opera to me. It felt like that.
The film takes on that kind of tone just because it's a tragedy about multiple families and multiple characters.
Exactly. And it was just hearing the soundtrack, you kind of get warped into this mindset of one wrong note you'll hear, and when you're coupling that with the scene you're watching, you're one wrong misstep from the character,
they're
done. You're done.
The music, you're like, oh,
it's driving you along in the story. I love it. And
so that was what I love.
And I'm telling you, you've listened to Joker. I don't want to just keep talking about Joker, but it's almost similar here in Joker, especially with you haven't seen the movie, but he likes to dance.
Okay.
And it was very and it was
I know
I've seen the trailers.
And it was very that kind of stuff, and I think that feels the same here. Obviously characters aren't dancing because they're not psychotic.
Their movements though,
well, they could be claimed as psychotic.
When she's holding the peach and it's very
everything is rhythmic. I don't know if one thing, not to unload a lot in one instance, but the whole preparation of the peach montage scene when the daughter that he's tutoring, I forget the character's name.
Oh yeah, I know.
Danier,
something like that. Yeah. She actually pushes the piece
peach
of honeydew melon
or the honeydew
into his mouth rhythmically to the music, and she's so confident in the way she pushes it and then wipes his face in one gesture. I'm like, she was totally fucking his friend before he left.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not her first rodeo. This girl's using him just as much.
But he was using her, right?
Exactly. They don't get into it enough, but I think the daughter was just as aware.
Yeah.
Was she using him for sex? What was she using him for?
For a boy toy? I want a boyfriend.
I'm fucking my tutor.
It's like a power move, it's like shifting a power dynamic. And
I think for sure.
She clearly gets off on that because she's always arguing with her parents, every scene. Why didn't you offer me the noodle bowl, Mom? Well, just go ask the maid to make it. She's like, that's not the point. She just hates being controlled.
Do you think that's culturally a thing? I
Like,
felt
are you
kind of
asking me
predatory.
personally?
Yeah, I don't know how up to date you are on Korean culture over there.
I mean, I'm not. I was
don't
raised
know.
very American. I'm gonna put that out there.
Yeah.
I just it's more personal reasons why I connect more with my Korean side, just the family dynamic and whatever.
It's part of your culture.
Well, yes, but me personally, being half Korean, my mom's side of the family treated me nicer than my dad, so that that was okay, well, the Koreans are treating me nicer than my dad, my white family. Yeah,
I just thought that was really weird.
But no, as a female and as an Asian female, we do get sexualized a lot and kind of used. It is for me, I can't say this for all Asian women, but I do kind of feel but sex
I do
as
think,
power.
I do know, or I don't 100% know, but I do know that in Asian culture, sex is also kind of weird. Here in America, we're just I'm fucking this bitch, all the time.
At the same time, we can't put titties on TV.
Yeah,
exactly.
but you don't see that in Asia, right? They're very private about it, I guess you could say.
Again, so they find ways to put it in film, like here.
So this felt kind of weird. The relationship. It wasn't really a relationship, but it felt kind of weird. I get the points though. He probably feels uncomfortable too, but he learns to like her.
But he's also she's what 50.
She's 15. Yeah, so I'm like, this is kind of.
That's why, like, she's so confident.
Yeah.
How, like, she orchestrates everything.
She's
Yeah.
a sophomore in
kiss,
college.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything that happens between them. She
knows
is
what
the
she's doing.
catalyst to
Right.
it. She's
Well,
so aware of
But
what
she's
doing.
15 and not even in college
And
because
he's like 21 or something.
yeah, he was in the military. He's taken the exam to university
He was in the
multiple
military?
times.
What was
Yeah,
that mentioned?
he mentions it to Min. Min mentions it to him
shit, I
before he
didn't-
leaves. He's like, because he's like, oh, I have
Said
no.
something about the Boy Scouts too. There was a big
Yeah,
Boy
well,
Scout
yeah.
he said like I had no. How am I going to tutor? I've never like gone to school, and he's like, you've taken the test like 3 times.
Yeah.
Like
Remember
you
that.
know the crap. It's just grammar, math, and whatever. So
Yeah.
that was kind of like a story, like a plot device. To be
So
like,
to
Yeah.
go with the power, so of her orchestrating everything, he's the one who makes the first move of like he grabs her wrist when
Yeah.
she's taking the test, and she's kind of like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah.
Like you
And
saying
the-
that
and the
makes me go
mom was
back.
kinda
I think that was a movement more for the mother than her though, because he was trying to show like I'm confident
that
and
I can.
I'm like
tutor
I know
her.
what to do.
Yeah.
But from her perspective, it's also like this guy's taking control of me, and I can't have that. You know what I mean? If you're going with like she's the one orchestrating this and she's the one in power, him making that move is like in
Yeah.
front of her mom,
Yeah.
especially. She's like, "Fuck."
I
like,
don't.
I thought she was more turned on by the fact that like this guy doesn't
absolutely.
take her mom's shit. Like
Yeah.
and
I'd
she
be turned on
like, she
too. I don't
clearly
give a
doesn't
shit.
like her mom. Yeah. Like
But like I'm just saying, like it's also kind of just a. She seemed shocked that he did it.
Yeah.
Because
Certainly,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, I would be too if that was your daughter.
Oh no, I'm saying as the girl getting her wrist grabbed.
Oh.
as the
yeah, like
daughter,
she
yeah.
was looking, but like they even like for a moment, like you almost hear like an inkling of a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
when they zoom in on the wrist.
Mhm.
I think it was trying to show like she's like, damn,
Yeah.
I'm wet.
well,
I don't know.
sploosh.
Either way, like it's weird to me. Okay,
Mhm.
she's 15. Like,
Yeah,
Which
it's
I
just
kind
weird
of
to
lost
me.
track of in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Like that's my
It
fucked up
just
part.
feels
but-
kind of like even if it was an
'Cause she
American
felt
film, it
older.
still would be
Yeah.
weird. Like that's
Yeah.
fuck no,
Yeah.
bro. She's 15. Don't be trying to get
Right,
at that.
right,
so
right.
at least they didn't have sex or anything crazy.
Oh
Like,
yeah, no.
Yeah,
I know.
they were just
they
kinda-
clearly didn't do that
Yeah.
for a reason.
Yeah.
like
But-
it wasn't something that was gonna happen.
Yeah. So
and that wasn't the main con, right? Like she.
It wasn't.
Well,
the main-
she would give up her power dynamic if she gave in. Like the
Yeah.
whole time. Like,
Yeah.
There's such an oral fixation between the two of them, and it's such a focus because it's like this is all this dude is getting.
Yeah.
right. It's
He's
gonna
getting-
keep him
he's getting some
around because he doesn't
kisses.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well-
She's got him wrapped around his finger.
Yeah. Well, and unbeknownst to
Shit's
her,
good.
like she's the reason they get the mom into they complete their con,
Yeah,
right?
she gives.
She gives
him like
to
the
go with that
Pandora's
theme.
box. Like
Yeah.
she opens it
Yeah.
up for them.
of like peaches,
The peach montage.
and she doesn't know she's doing that. Oh my
At the same
God.
time, she doesn't know
Best.
she's doing that. But that's what I like about the writing. That's just good. Good.
Oh, that's my Siri. Sorry.
Oh,
One
I
thing
didn't
I-
feel like that was out of place. In some movies,
yeah,
you would
no.
be like, "Oh wow, how fucking convenient." But I didn't feel like it
Yeah.
was.
Right.
It was
Oh
out
yeah.
of
No.
place.
Absolutely.
We were talking
Wow.
about like genre shift and tonal shifts and
Mhm.
just how much of it was in this movie, and that is definitely one of my positives. Like back to the peach montage, that whole time you're like, are they gonna get caught?
Right.
What are they gonna do to this housekeeper? Like you're so anxious, but like so many fucking shots make you laugh. Like when the dad pulls out the fake bloody
Oh,
Yeah.
I lost my fucking shit.
So
I
fucking
was
funny.
laughing so
Yeah.
hard.
And then the mom faints.
It was-
afterwards.
they
it-
were all so good.
So
Like,
It was
funny.
all
total
the
soap
actors.
opera.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he turns around, he's like,
Yeah, I know.
so funny.
Not-
yeah. And then
So
she
good.
blacks out and it fades
Yeah.
to black. It doesn't even cut.
And
It's
then
like
Yeah.
the
a fade.
strings like
Yeah.
fade out. Yeah.
So
In that
was
sequence
funny.
too, when it cuts to the family in their house, like their basement, rehearsing, and the dad's like acting it.
Oh, yeah,
acting,
love
and the son's
that
like,
part.
Dad, you're up here.
Yeah.
I need you to be up
know.
here,
I
and that's
love
really
that
funny
part.
because Song, the guy who plays the dad, is he's the biggest like Korean actor. Like he's
Yeah, he's
highly respected.
He's Tom Cruise. in
Yeah,
Korea.
and Troy, he's the one that's like young, like he's the young up and comer.
Oh.
So like,
He's the
Cool.
childish Gambino of Korea. Right
yeah,
now.
exactly. Oh my God, he is. Oh, I love Troy.
That's cool.
But like that dynamic was just really funny to me, like knowing that
the-
he's the
The
like
relationship
he's
between
teaching,
the families,
yeah,
like they all have this like really interesting like familial dynamic.
yeah,
Mhm.
because they've been through it. Like they're a unit.
It
like they
sucks
need to
being
do
poor.
it. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You only have the people around you
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
when you're in that like destitute of poverty.
Mm-hmm.
Your
Yeah.
whole
I
life is coming home.
I love this. I love this story because
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Mhm.
We've never really seen that before.
Like a family.
Yeah, like a
as
whole
unit?
this whole like let's be con artists essentially and kind of just.
Yeah,
you've seen like Heist, like
You've
yeah,
seen
Ocean's
Heist,
11. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
but we
I've
haven't
seen other
seen
movies where it's like a
this.
family unit.
Yeah,
doing
this is
something similar to that. But
this is them trying to like make ends meet, and then like they find out that there's something good behind it. Like,
well, the other like
it's
other
totally
movies
opportunistic.
kind of do it like the families are doing their own separate thing, whereas in this one they're all doing it for one.
Right. They
like,
feel like
goal.
and they're like, oh, we'll buy a house and we'll get out of here. Like you feel like they're a unit and not in for themselves.
Yeah, there's no breakage. Like they're all gonna pool their money. They're all there's not once where like
and
one
I like
person is
that.
playing
Yeah.
I like that, and I think it added to the drama when things change at the end, and
We see another layer.
and they're still together in this.
Yeah.
And it's not like, you would probably see like the boy would be like, I thought they were gonna do this when he was saying, "Oh, I like the girl," and stuff. And when they were drinking, and
he says
his
like he likes
friend.
the girl he's tutoring.
Yeah, and I thought that was gonna be like the breakage in the family. Like, oh, what do you mean? Like, we're trying to do something else here, and you're over here like trying to have a relationship. But he was like the husband. Song was he was super supportive. He's like my son or whatever.
Like your in-laws.
Yeah, this is gonna be our
house.
in-laws' house.
Yeah.
Like, but you felt like they were still united, and I was gonna be really upset if they were doing this. Like, this was just their way of doing the drama to break them apart and like ruin something.
I thought that was just reinforcing the whole point of the movie. It's the whole film is just about fantasizing and ascending past your stature where you are currently right now.
Right.
Like no one in the family goes, dude, you're lying about who you are. How the fuck are you gonna marry this
right
girl?
right
We're all gonna we'll hire
they're
actors
all
to play your
yeah.
family. Like they think that this is just gonna last forever, and it's like, dude, like there's no way you're ever gonna end up with this girl. That's not gonna happen.
Well, that's the thing like about this movie, about any good movie really, is that as different viewers we come out with something so different. Like to me, not the point of this movie, but my biggest factor coming out of this movie is that we're all pieces of shit. We're like, no matter your social status, you're rich, you're poor, no matter who you are, we're all parasites.
I'm gonna hop on that. I think it's not that we're all pieces of shit. It's we're all wallowing in our own shit, and class and elitism and wealth. Nothing rises above that. Like the rich family, like they're so removed from like life and just like cleaning and all that. And then the poor family, their whole house gets flooded with shit, and they go into the house to get what little possessions they have.
Yeah.
Right.
It just shows you like no matter what, like at a base operating level of like humanity, like you will do what you need to do to survive. And like this is all just a facade.
Yeah. Well, and you're focused on yourself and those you love, which is shown at the end. Spoiler alert. But like, when the rich dad, his son is
Mr. Park.
Yeah, Mr. Park. His son fainted, and like the guy's daughter's fucking stabbed, although he doesn't know it's his daughter.
Yeah.
But he's focused on his son and his son only, and like he's getting the keys, and he doesn't give a shit about the girl who's stabbed in the fucking heart.
The thing that finally gets him is he goes over the guy who stabbed his daughter and scared his son, and he just a quick little.
Yep.
It's just enough to send the dad over the edge. Like and that's one thing that's crazy. The first shot in the movie is socks.
Yeah.
There is a
with the window,
huge motif of smells.
Which
is I've never seen a film that tries to put
smell and
a sense like smell.
Yeah.
Like there's other senses that have been tried to like there's movies that like try to show you like what it's like to be blind, like that kind of stuff. But something as amorphous as scent. But scent really does influence and intercedes all of our life. Like
and I think it was done really well. I mean, you see it in other movies where they're like, "Oh, what's that smell?" But you're kind of just like don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a dead body. Cool. Like
this is important.
But here you felt it more, especially because it was more relatable. Like not a lot of people have smelled a dead body, that's for sure. But
definitely
more relatable with like BO or being.
Everyone's had to hang out with dirty socks to dry.
Yeah, or not having clean clothes or whatever.
Or having your own house scent. Like
your own
the whole
scent.
house
where you live.
smells like the poor district of Korea, and the boy keeps talking about it.
All the points you guys are saying are also in his overall vision, I think, for the movie too was like the classes in Korea, like class society, especially with the flooding. I think the flooding actually probably happens in these lower parts of Korea.
Oh, definitely
Yeah,
does.
absolutely.
With like sewage overflow, especially in these types of countries.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge call out for like government and stuff. Like this is what we live, like some people live in. And we see movies try to do that all the time. And I love that because I felt like I was getting more cultural reference to their country, and I felt like fuck, like people live in that. It hurts,
even
to watch.
like you could see it when with the people emptying their house as they're flooding.
Yeah,
it's kind of like they're used to it.
They're
like,
used to it. Yeah, it's a heavy rain season. Like we're gonna
operating
get
business as usual. And I think that's like, as an American coming to that film, it's so great to see that portrayal, because I often think in American culture we put East Asian cultures on a pedestal, like poverty doesn't even exist.
Right.
Yeah,
We think about
absolutely.
all the things that we import into our culture, like smartphones.
Absolutely.
Like that, we just think that the whole country is middle
Is
class.
yeah.
But Korea
Yeah.
is very, very different. It's very distinct, and it's a war-torn country.
Yeah.
Like, there's Korea's
there's a huge split.
Yeah. I think when people think Asia, they think Tokyo.
Tokyo.
Like,
Yeah,
they're just like
exactly.
Tokyo.
And there's
High
plenty
tech.
of poor places in Japan too.
Absolutely.
Like poverty exists
everywhere.
And there's separate issues of like this goes against class, but like this separates from class, but like body issues, like the image, the body image for women, especially in like Asia, fucking A, like.
Yeah,
you
you're
have
expected
to
have
be
pale skin.
like that's why makeup's so big there. Like we don't think about that. We're like, oh, cute makeup and like all that stuff. But
like
the
geisha
reason,
type
the
stuff.
reason it's big there is because
Yeah.
you have to be pretty to be loved and like to have a place in society.
I'm from California, and ASU has a huge Chinese and Japanese immigrant student population, and I always thought it was so strange that like in the middle of a sunny day they'd be walking around with umbrellas, but it's because if you have tan skin, it's seen as like working class, like you're out working in the sun all day. It's like a complete turn on the American culture, where
California,
where we want to be tan.
if you're not tan, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
so
were you sick all
Get
weekend?
out there, bro.
Bro, you're not
shock 'em, bro. Get some carne asada. Eat it by the beach.
You're not tanning, bro. What's going on? But yeah,
Get with it.
I totally understand that. I love that feeling being in the movie. I think, and then Parasite, just the name, like Nicole said, we're all parasites.
Yeah,
and it's literal in the movie. Like they are a parasite for this family. They're going into the host family. They're living off them, and then it's also, metaphorical with the husband and they're parasites of like society almost. Like they thrive off. Like
they're
not
perceived that way by the Park family.
Yeah,
and
the
people
Park
like them.
You're exactly.
Well, and then once you get further into the movie, the maid's husband in the basement, he's leeching off of.
Fuck.
So everyone is like connected there.
That guy is one of the scariest fucking things.
Dude,
seriously
in
though.
a movie all year.
Honestly,
when I said like it's not quite a horror movie, it's because he's
the horror
in that
fucking
movie.
Just
crawling up
the crawling
stairs.
and just the scene when the son saw him with that dark ass basement thing.
The day after, I text Nicole and I was like,
I couldn't believe.
So like a little behind the scenes at first draft. When we open, we have to walk down into what looks like a sub. Like it looks like you're getting onto like a submarine.
Yeah.
Because it's all red light.
Oh, okay.
You have to go downstairs, the walk in, all that stuff, and it's pitch black besides this red light.
Yeah.
The whole time I was like, I swear to God,
if
I hear or see fucking anything, I was losing my mind.
I always picture, when the lights are off and I go down and turn it off, I always envision somebody standing there because I like to freak myself out.
No
like
way.
that's what I do to myself. But exactly.
I'm good, fam. No,
I know, right?
That is creepy.
Yeah.
That shot right there was really good.
So
it was one of my favorite
good.
shots. It's definitely
and
one of the ones I was
just the editing there when she's telling the story and the cake is behind her and the fridge is opening. It's like it's part of the real shot.
Yeah.
Or it's
like
part
in
of
her memory.
reality, but it's her memory.
And Bong Joon
it's such a good
was
way
very
of doing
selective when he wanted to interject those like visual like there's only one or two, like there's only like 3 or 4 moments in the movie where you're like, that's not actually happening. It's just there for
for visual
to
or
reinforce
to tell
something.
Yeah.
And I love that because it looks like it's so easy.
Yeah.
Like when you're watching it's so easy. You're like, oh, this is her memory. Like even though the fridge is opening behind her, she's telling the story, but your brain, your subconscious, you're like, this is the vision.
Right.
Like this is what she's thinking.
And it goes back to the voyeur thing because you're looking over her as she's telling the story, but her face isn't even the shot.
Right.
It's just her body. So it makes you like you're looking over her and you're visualizing what she's saying in your ear.
Right.
Because you're looking down at the floor. As
subconsciously,
the
that is so easy to watch.
Yeah.
And it's not like this whole like, we're going to a vision.
Yeah.
And it's why I
just,
prefer films
I love that.
of a slower pace. And it's kind of funny when you said that it was predominantly like old people in the theater. movies before the 80s, like they had that kind of pace to them. It's why I think this movie reminds me so much of a Hitchcock film. It is shot, it's paced, and it follows the same
writing has definitely changed. That's for sure. I mean,
a lot,
when you see Rise, you'll understand.
I've seen the spoilers.
knows,
I basically know the movie.
You'll understand
there's
that they
some
can.
movies where I'm like, I'll give you my money. I don't care.
You'll understand that they can write 5 movies in 1 movie in 2.5 hours. Like it's that itself is a talent. I give them props for getting that. Like I'm sure that task is insane, but
Migos put out Culture 2 and it took them 2 hours. I think to make the whole album.
But when you have time to do and show the audience what's happening and write that out a little bit smoother, it shows like this. It comes out way better.
It's fully realized.
But yeah, I mean, I like a lot of things about this movie.
Did you have any other gripes? Any nitpicks?
Before we do though, any other likes?
One little thing I kind of want to ask you guys if you noticed this, but I don't know how many Korean movies have you watched? Have you watched a lot?
I've seen this. I've seen Okja.
Okay.
I need to watch
one of
Okja.
his, Snowpiercer.
I've seen Snowpiercer. I've seen Oldboy, which is probably my.
I need to watch Oldboy.
This is probably beating Oldboy, but before that, Oldboy was probably my favorite Korean film I'd ever seen.
Right.
Oldboy has one of the most insane fight scenes.
Yes.
Absolutely. I've seen that scene.
The hammer scene.
Yeah.
That shit is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's a great scene.
Yeah. So sorry.
No.
I've seen 3, so I'm not, I don't know a lot about Korean film, but this one in particular, I just loved because it felt so seasonal. And I've noticed, like with the other ones I've watched, except for Snowpiercer, which is, I think, looking back on it, that's why I don't like Snowpiercer of his, even though I love this director so much.
Yeah.
But this movie, you can see the seasons, like it's spring, summer.
Yeah, it's a very realistic
fall,
time
winter
shift. Like you feel like you're aging with the movie.
Yeah, but it also, just feel, and that makes it feel very poetic. And I don't know if it's Korean cinema as a whole, but I've just noticed that trend, and I love it. Like it's the most subtle technique to me of like filmmaking, and I love that touch.
I'd have to go back and watch the movies that I've seen, because I haven't seen Train to Busan and some of the
Busan is in the case of like a day or two. I mean,
that one's like a different. I guess I should say like Korean like dramas maybe.
Yeah.
Not the shows, but like I watched The Handmaiden. That's a Korean film. That's I always, it's not The Handmaiden's Tale. It's The Handmaiden something, but it's
I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it,
that movie is wild. But that one is very seasonal as well, where it's like you see the seasons, but it's not so in your face.
I get what you're saying, because in American film, they're like, they need to tell you.
Yeah.
Dude.
Like it will turn to winter and they'll just show you falling snow.
Yeah.
Like
one of my favorite, one of my least favorite film tropes is when they like zoom in on a city and they go like San Francisco, California.
Yeah.
As opposed to like San Francisco, fucking Antarctica.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I know what that place is.
Yeah.
I
even
get that.
in La La Land, they did like fall,
do that.
spring. They say it.
That there though makes sense, because that movie is split up into like acts,
That's
right?
Pod,
like
bro. That's
almost like
it's like a relationship.
It's a relationship. Like this is your spring. This is yeah. So
why do you need to say that?
If you do it with intent, it makes sense. If you do it by just saying like, without saying it, you're specifically showing snow just to tell the audience.
Were you a fan of La La Land?
I liked La La Land.
I love La La Land. It's one of my favorite movies too.
And
we get a lot of shit for it.
No.
I like it.
Do you want to be on a La La Land pod?
It's a very enjoyable movie.
We're thinking about doing a remastered, because we did
it, but we
was
didn't.
It's like episode.
I could be the contrarian because I did not like that movie. So.
Okay.
So
I could be the one who's just like devil's advocate.
I get why people don't like it, and
I should love that movie. Like it's a
true.
musical set in California.
Yeah.
The first
LA.
opening scene is a highway that's pretty much overseeing the hospital I was born in.
Oh shit!
Like
I mean, like me.
I love a lot of things about. La La
I wish
Land.
like an Asian girl was the main, or anybody of color, like in the main, but like whatever.
I just didn't want it to be Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone again. Like
no,
after
I like
watching
Ryan Gosling.
Crazy
Ryan Gosling
Stupid Love,
yeah.
That relationship was way better in that movie. It was way more believable.
We got to subcut this
into
the episode.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
back to
we're
it.
going off. We're going off on a tangent.
Well, we were talking about seasons, but I'm with you. I don't know. I feel like you feel the atmosphere a little bit more. I don't know if it's because it's a foreign film and I'm open. When I go to it, I'm already open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for different techniques. I'm looking for different shots that maybe someone else wouldn't do. Like I said, quirkiness, like with a Korean, like you can kind of notice between Train to Busan and this, which are technically the only 2 Korean films I've seen besides Snowpiercer, but
that was his
he
American
clearly
version.
made Snowpiercer to be American.
That was
you have fucking Captain America.
Yeah.
So
you have a Captain America problem.
Yeah, I
It was
do.
definitely
I don't.
like an American blockbuster.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like like that's what the whole spaghetti western thing was.
Right.
It was just
Yeah.
Europeans making western
Yeah.
movies.
So I don't know. I kind of find I notice those things a little bit more, and I feel like I could feel that the season a little bit more.
Do you
Okay,
think
so-
you
super
notice
weird.
those kind of visual
Yeah.
and like film motifs when it's a foreign film
Yeah.
more than when it's an American
Yeah,
movie?
and I feel it's so for me at least. It's really subconsciously like I know where we're at in the season. I know where we're at in the story. Like I don't know.
But
Sometimes
that's because
America.
they're so subtle with the way they're showing.
Yeah,
it,
exactly.
And I think
So I've
that's-
but I notice it. But at the same time, I'm not like straining myself to find it. So
Yeah. I think there's like some movies don't put weight on things
and I just
when you're
think
looking
that
for it.
I just think that is overall because I'm open-minded going into it, and I'm not. Oh, I've seen this before.
Ah.
Oh, Michael Bay does this every fucking movie.
Fucking Michael Bay.
Yeah. So, or even Chris Nolan, he does everything in all of his. You could watch all of his movies in a row. You're like, yeah, this is a Chris Nolan.
Yeah, yeah.
If I just saw like a corner of the TV, you could probably tell who made it if you're
Right.
very into it. But
J.J. Abrams with
yeah.
his whole mystery box
Yeah,
thing.
so-
Or his laser light. What's that
the-
laser technique that he uses? The glare.
the glare,
Lens
the
flare.
lens
The
flare.
lens flare.
Yeah.
So like
lens flare.
if you
God
watch like a
damn it.
fourth of the screen, you could probably pick out
Yeah.
without sound, probably if you're really into movies. And I feel like going into a foreign film like this, you don't have that knowledge if you're not into them. Like I don't go see foreign films all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm open to like finding those things, but then at the same time I'm like, oh, that I understand what's going on. I'm not like pissed off about it. So I really like that. I think we can move to dislikes. So do you guys have anything else?
I don't have a dislike about the movie. The one dislike I guess this is like a personal nitpicky thing, and it's more of this is more on myself. I wish I knew more about Korean culture because I feel like there were some things that were just lost on me. Like one of my favorite shots was lost on me. Like there's a scene when that rock floats to the top of the water. Like it floats like literally the shit rises to the top. And there's this rock, and you're like, why is that rock floating? Like, what does that rock represent? Is that a thing like in every Korean household? So like, I wish I knew more.
Yeah,
so I could interpret these shots better because I saw that shot and I liked that shot, but I was like, what did that mean? Why did that rock just float?
Yeah.
Yes.
It looks like
Was it fake?
weighs.
Was his friend giving him a fake thing?
But
No.
it weighs. I mean, we've
So
saw
that
how
was
much it
a-
weighs.
Yeah,
right?
that's the other thing.
That
I
was
know
a
it wasn't
technique
fake.
that Bong Joon. He actually did the interview about this, and it's funny. I read this little interview like right before this pod because I kind of had an issue with the rock.
Oh,
when
really?
I first saw this movie, I was like, okay, they're presenting this rock as if it's like the family curse. Like they're giving it as a good luck charm.
Right.
And some point in the movie, it's going to break, and that's how we're going to know that the family's gone to shit,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Sure does break on something.
It does. Well, no,
Yeah.
it doesn't even break.
No, but
It like, I know.
It would have been a kind of cool metaphor if it
But
broke
it would have been
after
obvious.
it hit his head.
It would have been obvious.
I know, but
yeah, but like
we're
that's
dumb Americans. so.
exactly.
I
but
think
like that's why I was going
I
into
think
it.
if it broke, it would have given it meaning. Because if it doesn't break, it's just a fucking rock.
Yeah.
Well, no. So Bong Joon was like he basically was saying that as film watchers, we like to find little metaphors in the movie.
Yeah.
And he knew that we would look at that rock and be like, oh, this means something. And so he treated it as if it was nothing. So that was his thing. And it's I'm butchering the saying, but there is a thing in Korean culture about philosophy. It's like a philosopher's rock. So it was like a status in Korea. Long ago, it's not so much anymore, but there were certain, it's it's SOSEOUK, I think. SOSEOUK. Sosuk, I think. I don't know how to say it. Something like that. But it is a thing. Philosopher's stones.
Yeah.
It was
I
like
could
a
see
status,
that.
yeah.
I mean,
I understood the film representation for it, but I think I was worried more about maybe some subtlety or like what you just said, what it actually represented in Korean culture.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. The rock didn't mean shit. He just put it in as a not a MacGuffin, but I'm not giving him credit to his answer, but it is. He was like, I know you guys are looking for something.
I'd like to hear what he has to say on it.
Yeah.
This is kind of
disagreeing with the guy who made the movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
No, but again, I was like, I want this rock to mean something. It has to mean something, and in the end, it really doesn't. Like, what was the purpose of him putting it back? Like, you know, like, was there any meaning in that?
I think it just represents their drive and like that inescapable, like, we want to become wealthy, we want to get to that, like we want to push through, and I think like it's just.
Don't they kind of hint that the rock is like a sign of wealth? Like it brings wealth.
He says that. He's like, this is a
that.
good luck charm. It brings wealth to households, and it for a moment it does.
It does, exactly. And then it doesn't, like, you're like, okay, well, it doesn't break. Like, we're shown so many scenes of it, of like, oh shit, it's in danger.
Yeah.
And nothing happens to it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know. I haven't seen the interview, and like, what I'm not saying.
It wasn't a scene. It was like a reading.
I'm not discrediting you either, but I'm like, I'm kind of curious now too. Like Alex said, like, what does he want to do with it? Because it almost felt plot device like.
Yeah.
It definitely was.
Like maybe I almost felt maybe it wasn't even thought of in the beginning, and they
I'll show you the interview
because it's only in the beginning and the end. And in one scene in between that could have been an easy kind of like reshoot type thing, but like, oh, maybe we should add something else, maybe some more motive
in theater and in film, and it's called Chekhov's gun. Have you guys heard of this?
Yes. Yeah, I have heard of that.
Anton Chekhov, he was a Russian playwright. He basically said if a gun is introduced during a play, it has to go off.
Yes.
It has to be fired at some point.
Yes, I have heard of this.
So, like, I almost think there's some sort of connection there to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I also, like, I might be interjecting a whole ton of my very personal politics into this movie, because I picked up on a lot of like what he was trying to say with class and wealth and just the struggle of that. And
if we want to go there, I just thought of this, but like the rock was given to him as a gift, right, from his friend, who basically gave him this job and started the whole con.
Right.
And him putting it back in the river after everything that happened to it and after everything that it brought upon them, if you want to look at it like that, it didn't. But him putting it back is him letting go and not taking anybody else, like him not doing it for himself. Down, like, not handing it down of like, I'm doing it for me and this is how I'm going to do it. Nobody else is going to give it to me.
Okay.
And that's him putting it back.
Interesting.
If we want to give the rock
there's a
credit.
ton of metaphors in the movie.
But the rock, like, again, I don't think it's big.
Down to the slave guy in the underneath, like,
good God,
him doing the light thing
with his head.
Not even the Morse code, but him lighting up the stairwell for Mr. Park was like direct, like, these people are slaving underneath, like, you know, underneath like these higher.
That was a trickle down economics kind of like criticism there, in my opinion.
Dude, when that scene happened, I was like, this movie's getting whack. Like, I thought Mr. Park knew this dude was down, like, slave to this guy.
Oh shit! Wow.
Because he's walking up the stairs, you know, all confident, and the lights are just turning on, and we never
he's doing his job.
Yeah, we were never shown like that the house does that. So I was under the impression that he like had enslaved this guy. I was like, this movie's gonna go really crazy.
It actually really makes me want to go watch it again, so I can look at the lights during it. Before the
you want to see if there's anything.
Yeah, because like, what if he's just like flickering lights the whole movie?
Fuck.
You know, like.
Well, it's really like kind of shows the nonchalance of the rich, of like, oh, because. And us as viewers were like, when I first saw this and I first saw the lights, I was like, oh shit, like they're automatic lights, cool. Like, you know, like, oh, walk on lights, like that's what you get when you're rich. And
this is why I thought this dude was a slave.
Okay.
Like, and especially the way that the movie was going, I honestly didn't expect it to turn this way.
So
at all.
The way he was framing the basement door, I knew something was down there.
Well, you knew, like, that's darkness. Like, there's something on
I thought that it was the rich family killing people. And that's my American brain.
Yeah, and I thought, you know, and especially when they found the door thing, and I was like, oh, God, they're
hiding bodies
down
there.
There's either they're hiding bodies or the old house owners are down there dead.
Oh,
or like there's something going on with the main the family that they're conning.
The rich family, yeah.
Like, this Mr. Park dude is killing people and throwing them down
I had just watched Sorry to Bother You again, and my mind was going all kinds of places before that scene. I was like, no, not again.
We got some octopuses down there. Like, we got something down there.
Is this gonna hit Rule 43? Like, really?
Exactly.
So I was like, my brain was going all over too when they found the door. I was like, what the fuck? This movie's kind of changing. Yeah. And the tone does change at the scene, and like, we're on dislikes and we're kind of on everything, but
They pick stuff.
with the
My dislike
whole
was a dislike for myself.
Yeah.
I don't dislike anything in the movie.
the whole part where it slows down and they're drinking, and I do love that scene, but like I said, it kind of just like stops there, and then it's like new movie almost.
Oh,
you know,
right,
like
right.
That is the tonal shift.
yeah,
That's
like 2 films in one kind of thing. And I did not expect it to turn this way. I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting them to get caught at some point, or someone was going to get caught. There's going to be some sort of consequence, because you can't just have them like they just live happily ever after, or that would be kind of weird. Maybe.
Do you like the way it turned then?
I do, but at the same time, I was like, are we just doing this because we need it, or because we really want to tell it? You know, like some movies do this where you kind of just feel like, oh, we're just putting this in because we need action or something, or like,
definitely
you
not.
know, or
Definitely not here.
where we need horror, or we need something.
I just need something to
something to
engage.
get people back into it, right? Because like
yeah.
I've told my cool con story. Everyone's in their position. Now where do I go with the story? And I think that's a
they're
writing
kind of
decision.
on cloud 9 in that moment. Like they're so comfortable because they're eating their food, they're drinking their alcohol.
Yeah, they're just chilling. They're sleeping on the couch.
Fucking breaks all of that glass everywhere. You're like they definitely got way too comfortable in that moment.
So, and it also has probably more metaphor in it, and I kind of want to watch it again to kind of just literally just start at that moment and kind of see if there's anything else, like almost like this scene changes them. They've at this moment, I'm going off the top of my head right now, I feel like they've turned into the rich family, and then they get introduced to someone who's poor or someone who's hurting below them, and they have become Mr. Park's family. And now they get down there and they're like, oh, you guys are fucking like slums, and like you're living under here. And they do they look down on them. They kind of got possessed in a way, you know, like with the riches.
Interesting.
So
it really is.
I think that's kind of why it's there.
Smart social commentary, because no one wants to talk about how you lose your humanity as you gain wealth.
Exactly.
It is something that is unavoidable. Like you can talk all day about how great
I'm not going to do it.
Gates are, but like, you know,
they're still not connected to the real world.
So he could monopolize the PC industry. Like, that guy was a total asshole back in the day, and now.
And this is the same with like the Golden Globes.
He has the luxury to do what he's doing.
Ricky Grievous, he did his monologue, and he's like, "Don't come up here and like tell us about the real world because you don't know shit." I kind of respect them for that, because they don't know. I mean, as much as I love Joaquin saying like save the koalas and, you know, all this stuff, because we do care about Australia, we do care about that. At the same time, like you know that they don't, like, are they there? Like you can donate as much money as you want.
Hollywood Democrat is
just
a term for a reason.
It just doesn't feel as earned, and they could be 100% sincere, and I'm not discrediting anyone for saying that stuff, but when you're watching it, you're kind of envy them, you know. You're like, it must be fucking nice. I would be saying, you know, I would be saying, let me go donate to Australia if I had all this money. But like, you don't know, like, we're down here, they're down there. Like Russell Crowe didn't even show up because he was with his family, which I thought was kind of pretty. And they live in Australia, so I thought that was pretty like cool for him.
Thor and all those the 3 brothers.
The Hemsworth.
They donated like $1 million between the 3 of them.
Because they have the luxury too.
And that's all well and good.
That's all well and good, but like,
exactly.
You know, like
we respect it, but this movie gets to that point, like like you're saying, you don't know how you're gonna turn when you get to that point, and I think that's why that's there.
That's good,
And and it turns out to bite them in the ass and literally costs the daughter's life. And I'm sad she died because I liked her out of all of them.
Oh my gosh, she was so badass. Fuck, I love her so much.
Just the way she dominated.
Very close, but
the dad,
Yeah, I love the daughter.
Just the way she controlled the room and like stuff.
And the
really
saddest part is she had the clearest prospect to actually going beyond. Like, she like you don't need to go to art school to be an accomplished artist. Like, it's a slim
you can learn.
chance,
You can learn this.
But she's so intelligent. Like, she really could have been the thing if they wanted to like play it straight.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
And what do you guys feel about the son living? That rock would smash your.
Rock. Yeah, no, I have a problem with that.
I don't. Because
that was hardcore.
And twice, dude.
I mean, dude, like people have crazier things. Like, there's a guy who like literally lived and got like 400 stitches from a shark attack.
Yeah, you can live. I get that.
I
thought
think
he was
brain
gonna.
damage?
you needed one of them to live.
Yeah.
And I think realistically, out of those two, the one that was going to most likely live is probably going to be the son.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, if you're losing blood like that, you're probably going to die.
Yeah.
Like and bludgeoning, while it is terrible, like a cut is going to kill you.
Yeah.
Quicker than that. Even if it
that's interesting that it's his girlfriend that saves him. I mean, we don't know where, like, but she
carries him out.
Yeah, she carries him. Like, that's.
Didn't expect that at all.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that at
Like,
all.
She's carrying the whole relationship, the whole movie.
Fuck, you know,
She's
on her shoulders.
Her
like
back
we do.
must have been hurting.
Like we fucking do. Just
again.
a real quick thing of like, because you brought up, your point was so good about what we were just talking before. God, I forgot. Like, I'm stupid.
Yeah.
But like,
how they become what they are, like, supposedly hating.
Yeah. So I kind of.
Who even knows if they hate it?
I had
at
an
the same
issue
time.
with the scene where
They
they're.
hate Mr. Park.
I get they hate
him.
Mr. Park, but it's never.
It's not a personal hate.
It's not. It's never. It's never clear though to me. I mean, I may have missed some comment. You know, I have to read. My brain was working this movie. It's hard. It's hard to read. Yeah, you come out of these when you're reading a subtitled movie. You come out pretty exhausted.
Yeah.
I just read a whole book essentially. Like
I actually watch TV and movies with subtitles all the time.
Well, I watch TV with subtitles, like Netflix. Like I'm watching Witcher right now, and I watch it with subtitles.
Sure. I feel like with like fantasy stuff, it's almost necessary.
Yeah, it's almost necessary, but you're kind of like reading and not reading at the same time. Like it's kind of weird.
You're gonna miss some stuff.
Yeah, but here I literally don't know the language, so I'm just like I'm reading a lot, and I may have missed some stuff, but I didn't feel like they were. I didn't really feel like they were like fuck the rich.
No,
it was almost like this is an opportunity. Let's just do it. Like
we're rolling with it.
We're rolling with it. It wasn't like. Oh, the fucking rich, they don't give a shit. You know, they weren't introducing that, and if they were, they would have done it in the first half of the film. Like,
no.
Like, we really hate, you know, oh, they're rich, their shit is just down here, they're trash. Like, they would have kind of went at that. So, a part of me just feels like they were kind of, you know, in a way, the family is kind of an asshole in a way once they became the full rich persona.
So
like,
my problem,
you're kind of like,
when
oh,
they had,
these people are bad in a way.
Yeah, but
you
like
know?
when they had that scene where they're basically when the movie switches, right? And they let the maid into the house. I was like, they're so smart as a con artist family. Why the fuck would they let her in when they're all there? And like they wouldn't do that. But like after you said your point, it's because they still have that piece of them that's
they
poor.
know
They're
where
poor.
they're
Exactly. They're like,
well, lady over.
And they said it multiple times. Like they were like, "Oh, is she okay?" Like the husband was worried of that they killed her.
Right.
And then
you enlightened me
the
to
daughter,
that,
the
point,
daughter was the one that was like the more hardcore. She's like,
Yeah.
"Who gives a fuck about these people?
Yeah.
Like, let's just care about us."
Or
like,
no, the
worry
mom
about
was
us.
kind of
and
like
the mom was kind of like that
she
too.
was like, they're nice because they're rich.
Right.
Basically, like.
Right. So you got all the perspectives of everyone. They were all drunk. So that scene is good.
That scene mirrors the final scene.
Yes.
So and I think it kind of gives you a taste. Like this is what you can become if you separate yourself from what is like the general human experience. Like if they had continued to be rich, they might have become more callous. Like they let her in not because they're naive, but because they still like there's still a part of them that
they're not rich yet.
Yeah, but also like to give credit where credit's due. Like when the poor people, like when the flooding is happening, the dad like looks at a guy who's like, "Dude, help me! I'm trying to get all of my shit."
Yeah,
out.
he's like, "Help me!"
He just blows right past the guy.
But like why? Like I would do that. Like I'm getting my stuff. Like I'm getting my family stuff.
I think it just shows the inherent selfishness of human nature.
Yeah,
right.
I don't think this is like a fuck the rich movie. I think this is fuck classes and
because we're
putting
all the
things
same.
into hierarchical structures because we're all capable of terrible things.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're all capable of helping people. But when we separate ourselves, ultimately, like it's only going to create more suffering in the long run.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. There's a lot of that.
It's not an indictment of the parks or anything. I think it just shows like how we can all become that if we're not careful.
Definitely think people interested in film need to see this. especially if you're studying it, whatever you're doing with it, like you need to understand like where he's coming from.
It's a Blu-ray movie for sure.
I would definitely, I would buy it. Honestly.
I would watch this once a year for the rest of my life. I'm definitely gonna own it.
It would be great to, like I said, just start at that end point and just kind of like.
I really want to do that.
I want to do that.
Like the dinner scene. Like I want to start the movie from there and just experience it from that.
Because I think at that point they've become full possessed. But like you're saying, of course they open the door. Like they feel for her. They ruined her life almost. Like, and
they poisoned her.
They poisoned her and like almost killed her. Right. Like there's a lot of stuff going on, and I get that's their weakness in a way for this part. Letting someone in when you shouldn't. But it kind of opens up the door, and it's kind of it's just weird. There's so many things you can break out of that, and we could talk about it for probably 5 hours. But
the whole MacGuffin is wealth. And like you said that term, like the whole movie, like there's always something in a movie that is pushing the plot forward.
And it's wealth.
And in this movie, like the thing that's pushing the plot forward is the thing that's pushing all of us forward. And like I was like so aware of it the entire time I was watching. I was like, what the fuck? I feel like I'm living like multiple days of my own life. Like, it was giving me kind of a little bit of anxiety for a second.
Yeah.
I was like,
this undertone of the movie is anxiety.
Yeah.
That whole sequence.
It's just there's
the
so
Ramadan
many layers.
sequence is like anxiety because you're like, fuck, the family is coming back.
Yep.
And then their people in the
basement. And
you
knew that was gonna happen.
Oh my god.
I knew it was coming.
When the mom's cooking and she like runs and kicks her. Holy shit, that was so good.
Oh dude, she sends her ass down the stairs. That was
just casual.
Dude, get that woman in just some fucking comps. Like
absolutely.
She could kick it with the best of them. She sent her ass down.
Oh my god, that was so good.
I knew that scene was coming, right? I was like, they're coming home. It's pouring rain. There's like no way they're out camping, especially this family, right? Like,
right. Yeah.
Like there's no way they would be out there.
God forbid a minor inconvenience
for
the parks.
Okay. That maybe goes to writing or directing, but like I was so focused on like fuck they're this whole basement twist, right? The maid has her husband in the basement and like the family has to deal with this, but I didn't even think about the family coming back. I was like,
so wrapped up in
exactly.
Like,
I was like, oh, it's raining, cool.
You're like, of course they're gonna come back.
Yeah.
But in the moment, I wasn't thinking that at all.
And then when the phone call came, I was like, fuck, that's right. Like,
I was I was expecting it for some reason. Damn. I mean, I was just kind of.
You're always good at like.
Yeah, maybe
feeling those.
I was like.
I saw a lot of stuff coming in this movie.
Yeah.
But I like it when films do that. Like not like in like a giving away kind of thing. Like they just leave little crumbs.
Yeah, that where you're like, okay. But this is again a subconscious thing. Like it is pouring rain. It's not like drizzling.
Right.
Like you're like anyone tent camping. That's gonna be a rough night. Like
you're a camper. Like
and I'm like, come on. Like you're sleeping on the ground.
Yeah. Well, and they're rich. I was like, oh, they got a cabin.
Yeah,
like,
I thought that was, but it looked like they were packing like actual stuff. I don't know that this movie's great. I don't have many nitpicks.
I don't either. I really don't have any dislikes.
Just besides what I said, like it slows down there, but then it kind of just it totally changes. I don't know if it's for everyone. For me, at first, I was kind of like, "Where are we going? Like, what are we trying to do?" But after the movie, I was kind of like, with what I'm saying, like they got possessed and they became Mr. Park's family essentially, and they ridiculed them for being in their position, really. And they would do anything to keep their riches, right? Like the phone became like, I love the whole like the nuclear message. Huge shout outs against Kim Jong-un, which is I think is
my boy.
That's
I know you're watching out there.
That's pretty, especially coming from Bong Joon, like they're right next door. That's obviously a issue that they not only Americans deal with, right? There's people that live in South Korea.
They didn't comment on that much.
They did a lot of it. So
I mean, it's their life. Like, why are they gonna put it in a movie?
Right. Yeah. No, but like they mentioned like the 38th parallel once or twice, and then like they talk.
But there's that whole scene of her like doing like the impersonation of.
Oh, that's the broadcaster.
Of the North Korea
glorious
broadcasting
dictator.
Yeah. So it was kind of interesting to see.
Well, because North Korea's not gonna watch. They don't.
I know.
Don't ingest media.
Well, they probably. The high people will probably find a way to watch it, but
who knows?
Somebody will airdrop a couple.
But
who knows what the fuck?
But it's definitely an issue that they deal with.
Yeah.
So
definitely,
I think takes a lot of balls. Like you're calling. I mean, people do it all the time.
Well, he's so in his film career now. Like this is his masterpiece. Absolutely. Like.
This is the best movie he's made that I've seen.
I don't know how many movies he's done, like at least 5 for sure.
Yeah, at least.
He might have
Snowpiercer,
Monster or Mother.
There's like 1 or 2 other ones, I think.
Yeah, he didn't do Train to Busan.
He didn't do that?
No, he didn't. No.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would like to see a Train to Busan.
Who was Train to Busan?
It's another Korean director.
Yeah, it was another Korean director.
Oh, shit. Okay.
But
I can look it up.
this is like pinnacle filmmaking. We've said it like multiple times here. This is like, you need to watch this if you're going into film. You need to watch it if you're not in film. This is a fucking great movie.
This is a good movie
you,
to get people into foreign film too.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
They were like, there's so many subtleties in the way they act that were just so American.
Even
like,
the comedy,
the facial expressions, the comedy, the writing.
Yeah,
like they're so aware it's for American audience too.
Yeah.
Like the. Don't worry, honey. I got the tent from America. It's the best of the best.
Right. Or like Americans are really into Indian culture.
Yeah.
Or like
I always thought that was like a tongue-in-cheek reference to like how we're so obsessed with like certain aspects of Asian culture.
Absolutely, it is.
And
yeah.
Like I said, like we just assume like it's this bastion of technology.
And is that literal too? Like, does South Korea like fantasize about American stuff? Like,
I think K-pop shows that they definitely do.
Yeah, so that's kind of like
their beauty standards too.
Yeah,
like,
you're interested in like knowing like, oh, if I went to South Korea, like what would people say about like American culture? So, very very good movie overall. That's really all I had. That's literally all I have.
I
besides,
I hesitate to call movies 10 out of 10. But this might be a 10 out of 10 movie.
The two gripes I had is the slowdown and the drinking scene. I'm not saying the scene's bad. It's a great scene. And the freaking the high school girl and him. This just kind of just I was like,
and those aren't even big gripes.
They're not big gripes. I'm just kind of like, why is it? I get why it's here, but also doesn't need to be, because like the family's a rock, right? They're together, and he could kind of just be.
I like what you're saying with that. Yeah,
he could be on his own. He doesn't need to be in this relationship thing.
I think you needed some sort of.
Oh, sorry. I keep going. I have my third gripe.
Oh, you have a third gripe?
Okay.
Okay. I was gonna comment on the second gripe. The only reason I don't have an issue with the girl is like, one, like age and like relationship standards. Like, it's different in every country. Like, I mean, for God's sakes, if you're 18, you can have sex with a 14-year-old in Germany. Like,
I'm sure
it's cultural stuff, and,
right?
And it's gonna rub you the wrong way.
I guess it's weird for American culture.
And it's the taboo we put on sex.
I mean, like Jerry, like there's plenty of people in American culture who have had unfortunate running-ins with younger people, so it definitely resonates in different ways for us. But I think you needed to have like some other motivation to get into like that class besides wealth and homes and things like possessions. Like, unfortunately, there is an association with love and romance and class too. Like, there is
marrying into it.
He's so worried. Like he even asks her, "Do I belong here?" Like he doesn't feel like he's good enough for a young naive high school girl
because of her class
she's
and stuff.
wealthy. Like, so I see your gripes with it, and that's not a failing on you or the movie, but I didn't have as much of an issue with it.
It's not really a gripe. I was just laughing during the whole sex scene. I was just like, it's just weird to me to watch a foreign film sex scene, right? I think that's just, it's almost like,
and Mr. Park
starts,
in silk pajamas.
In silk pajamas, which is
very
that
rich.
must feel good.
I mean, that's very they're very thin.
He's a little heavy. He's a little heavy with the nipple play. That
nipple
took me
foreplay.
Yeah.
And then he knows she likes it because she's like clockwise, and I'm like,
true. Girl knew what she wanted.
He might not love her, but he's got that down to a T.
Yeah.
Don't they love each other?
I mean, he hesitated to
he's
say
like,
it every single time that the driver keeps on going. He's like, "Well, you love your wife, don't you?" And he looks like he's angry.
But he literally said, "We'll call it love."
Right.
At that one scene, and the second one, he's like, "I do love her." So maybe that was like a personal story for the husband, but
I think it speaks more to like, it's kind of like a showing don't tell of how like when you get that much money, like you're hardly ever satisfied with like, how things are. Like you need that constant drive to get to where it's going to be better. Like, every scene they're talking about like the next best whatever.
Yeah.
So the nipple foreplay was a little weird. It was
nipple foreplay was a little weird.
It's just, you
9.5 out of 10. Too much nipple play.
You gotta admit though, like, I don't know if that scene was meant for comedy. I don't know, because they are under the table, and that's usually like a comedic type scenario, like where people are having sex under the bed, or what, and you're like, there's a guy under the bed, there's a guy under the table. That's kind of awkward. Yeah. I don't know if it was because it was a foreign film and it just felt awkward because of just the language barrier and stuff too. So
I loved the under the table thing because it goes back to Hitchcock, where it's like there's a bomb under the table and when is it gonna go off? Dude, and they're literally under there, and you're like, when are they gonna get spotted, or when are they gonna leave?
Dial M for murder. Like, is this investigator gonna find the briefcase of money, or is he gonna find out that the guy knows where the key is? Yeah. There's so much to that.
So we were walking out of the movie, and of course Brandon's like, he's making fun of the sex scene, and he's like, don't do or buy me drugs, like screaming that out of the theater. Because we thought that was funny too. Yeah. And I think that's a cultural thing in a way.
Well, he was role playing.
Was he?
He was role playing because of the the driver that they found the underwear.
Because they were
like, oh.
Okay, but it was weird because he was saying that, and this guy in the theater stopped us as we were walking to the bathroom. And he's like, oh, well, drugs in Korea are illegal, and I was like, yeah, they're illegal in America too. You don't just go and pick up cocaine. Guy? Yeah, I'm like, you don't just go.
Your first rodeo,
it sounded like he was he knew everything about Korean culture, but I was like, cool, thanks. And then when he walked away, we were all like,
"Are you in the bathroom when he said this?"
No, we were about to walk in.
Okay, thank God.
And yeah, that would have been a good urinal conversation.
Thank you.
But it was kind of funny. I was like, I don't know what you're interpreting, sir, but you can't just go pick cocaine up in the streets of
that's what you get from this movie.
I'm sure drugs are sold everywhere.
I
but
think it also kind of goes back to American culture too, because American culture and drug culture are really hard to separate.
I thought she was a druggie though.
Oh,
I mean they talk on it a little bit, she's pretty keen to take a pill to get a minor headache.
At the beginning, remember at the beginning when he goes to do the interview, she's passed the fuck out on the table outside.
Yeah, that's right.
And the maid has to clap her hand. I'm like, this girl's toked the fuck out.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like the Utah housewife. She's all done up with plastic surgery and she's taking pills, but everything's fine once companies
but
around.
They never
she dogs.
But other than that, they never show her using it or anything like that. So I'm not 100% on that, but I
think there's something to what you're saying.
There's something there. Sure. There's something there.
I need to watch the movie again. I really wanted to watch it a second time before we did this.
There's something there, and it's not just because Korea has illegal drugs. But it was funny to watch.
What is illegal?
Yeah, exactly.
If you're rich, what the fuck can you get indicted for in this country? So in America, I can't even imagine what it's like in Korea.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not very good. So, let's do it then. Shots we love. You say we're ready?
I loved...
Load it up.
I loved the shot when he threw the rock down on the son's head, and it's a bird's eye view. Yeah. It's shot like you're on the ceiling watching it. I was like, they're gonna cut away before that rock hits his head, and it doesn't.
No.
And I love it.
I thought so
does
too.
That. I love it when movies do that because
you like the brutality of it. It's a lot to watch. You're like, fuck. You watch it, you cringe. You're not in a bad way.
And the sound effect too.
Yeah. That was pretty.
You feel
real.
the impact.
Yeah,
you feel the impact.
Yeah.
I thought this thing was
a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought this thing was heavy enough to legitimately crush his skull in, and I thought it was just gonna be.
Yes. I thought so too, but then I saw it bounce, I was like, okay, I don't think that's as heavy as I think it is.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes back to the whole floating thing too.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I mean, a rock floats. How?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So
how does a rock not kill a guy?
Yeah. So
so there's something
a jagged rock.
There's something about the rock that I don't get, and I need
exactly.
I need to examine the damn rock.
That's the meme.
That's a class right now in film.
What about the rock?
Professor comes in. What's the rock mean?
All right, class.
Well,
this
Dwayne
is about
the Rock Johnson.
It's elevated.
Yeah.
We've gone to the next
Charlie
level.
from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia meme,
Oh my, yeah.
Where's all the mail?
Yeah. Me trying to figure out what the rock means in person.
For real.
Do you have your shot?
You're stuck on that one?
That's one of my favorite shots. Honestly, there's a myriad of different shots in the house that I could take. I can't pick a favorite shot in this movie. The cinematography was one of the best shot movies I have ever seen in my entire life.
So good.
It was really good.
Mine is, and I hate to pick a moving shot, but I wanted to pick one with the whole family or one of the son or the daughter, but it creeped me the hell out when I saw it. and so it stuck with me.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
No, well, no, not the one where he's coming up the stairs. Not that
okay,
one. Not that one.
Dude,
The scene where
something else.
That's my.
that's
that
next
could be
level.
a poster for a movie.
Ooh, fuck that.
That should have been
That's
the
like
poster for the
Asian Get
movie.
Out.
Yeah.
That's Asian
Yeah.
Get Out
Just
right
his
there.
eyes.
Yeah.
Just a little
exactly.
bit above the
And
staircase.
the
Yeah.
lighting on his face is
Exactly.
Fuck, that
just
fucked me up so
Like the
bad.
moonlight lighting,
Yeah.
The scene where the parks are leaving for their camping trip, and the mom maid is in the garage seeing them leave, and the garage door is closing, and she's smiling and like waving the Park family off, and as the door like goes over her face, she like just like
Becomes
goes
so
serious.
stoic.
Yeah,
like,
and like
changes-
it creeped me the
changes
fuck out.
personality.
That's a great shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that shot, and just like it shows like the mask we put on, and
The
like,
mom had a very interesting streak to her.
she did.
Like the whole scene, like where like back to like the film, like the food scene, like where they were drinking and drinking, like when the dad just grabs her shirt and she's just looking at him like dude, fucking try it.
That
Yeah,
one
exactly.
was weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I get they're drunk and stuff, but
Yeah.
I was like, where's this
Korean
going?
drunk is
Yeah.
next level, guys. Like there's nothing like
we need to
it.
hang
I've
out.
gotten Jewish drunk, so like
I'm saying it's different in every culture, but like
Y'all,
Korean drunk.
y'all need to invite me.
yeah. Nah, dude, Friday
need
night,
that
like,
soju.
a Shabbat,
His
like,
wedding.
let me tell you.
Your wedding, bro.
Oh yeah,
Dude, I'm gonna crash it.
yeah. Sam can crash the reception.
Don't be my
for
plus
sure.
one. It's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay.
Definitely, yeah.
Yes,
I
fine.
that's yours. I like that.
What was your favorite shot?
I love the going back to when they're running back home because of the flood.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like the ticking time on. You're like, oh, did we leave the window open? Which you're like, of course they fucking left the window open.
Yeah.
But it was the one where it's like showing the landscape of Korea. Like I felt like I was getting more like I want to travel a lot of places in my like personal life, and I was like, man, I could really I feel like this like. Obviously, it's shot in Korea,
gotta
but
go,
you
man.
felt like you were there.
Yeah, it showed a lot of different sides of Seoul. I feel like I've never seen before.
And it was them running down that big stairs under
Yeah.
where the bridge was,
Yeah.
and it's just pouring
a lot
rain.
of staircases
Yeah,
in this movie.
yeah.
A lot of
And
staircases.
very like architectural.
Yeah, and it was that super wide shot of just their silhouettes just running
That was a
down.
great shot. That's a good one.
Surprisingly
You know I love
everywhere.
those ones.
Yeah.
I was
and
almost gonna pick the final shot in the movie, like the final.
we need to talk about that before we get off.
Yeah,
here,
definitely. We'll
But that would be my shot I love. And before we do the scores, let's do that because the ending here.
Okay. Do you have a problem with it or
No.
Okay.
But
I
what do
thought
you
it was
guys
a perfect
think?
ending.
What do you guys think? Do you think
He did not buy the house.
No,
it was
absolutely
a
not.
figment of his imagination,
Yes.
right?
And
That's him dreaming. It's
Right.
him making a plan.
and it becomes intensely more sad because the ending is really just bringing you back to the beginning of the movie.
Right.
It's just going like, after all of this shit, after all of the craziness, after they
I'm
lost
back to
family
square
members,
one.
at the end of the day, you still just have to go out and make that paper.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just going to be another cycle because
it's
they're
just
going
a
to keep
struggle.
conning
It's-
people, and
yeah.
they're just going to fall deeper and
Like
deeper.
what, yeah, exactly. Like
They're gonna get caught.
They're gonna be better this time. Like the
Yeah.
struggle. Still, if you're trying to fight for your survival and to ascend beyond the base, like shit-filled life that you feel like, because even before the shit filled their whole house, that bathroom was terrible.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
The
Yeah.
Wi-Fi in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
bathroom, like they have to like to connect to the world. They have to be amongst their own
Yeah.
shit. Like
Yeah.
like there was so many. Yeah.
But and it's even like
Do they say they're gonna keep conning? I mean, he's like,
They
don't
have to.
say
There's
it.
no way.
I mean,
There's
he
no other
writes
way
in
he
the
would get
letter to his
money.
dad. He's like, I'm gonna go to school. This is my plan.
And by the way, they're writing all this in Morse fucking code.
In Morse
they're
code.
writing a 5-page letter. And like, oh my god.
Come on, they used to do it in World War II. They're
I,
fine.
I know,
Yeah.
but they did like pages, paragraphs.
No, yeah, like
Maybe
Not
that
like-
could be the one like actual plot gripe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's pretty circumstantial.
Yeah.
That he actually sees his father's message.
The whole like the whole message.
yeah,
Right? But
it was kind of weird.
it's sadder the longer you think about it and the more you look at it. It's sad because like that dream sequence, it obviously didn't happen, and he wants to get there,
Yeah.
but you know he never will.
Yeah, like
Because
the
like
whole-
therening no way you're gonna get enough money to buy that house.
At the beginning of the movie, they're like, oh, I'll go to college eventually. Like, you'll go to art school eventually.
Yeah.
Like, they've all been musing on the same aspirations,
Yeah.
but there is still the same cultural and financial
Yeah,
blocks.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
right. There's
And
There's-
so, it's, yeah.
barricades that they would have to break down. to
I
get
thought
there.
it was gonna end. kind of maybe would be okay with this. I thought it was ending where the son's in the woods and he's looking at the house.
And it shows the Morse code.
And it shows the light.
Ends.
And then it fades to black a little bit, right?
I thought I was going to do that too.
Yeah, I thought that was like the end.
And then you were going to be like, oh shit, the dad's alive and what's going on.
Exactly. Again, American.
You kind of imagine your own
ending. That almost would be a better ending.
That would be the Inception ending. Like, in a way.
Right.
Like, what the fuck happens from here on out?
Or like, it makes you create your own story. Like, okay, like, is he going to get him out? Or like, are you going to break him out? Is he going to work his way out? You know, who knows? But
I think all you needed to see in that ending was there. Like, I would have liked that ambiguous ending. Like, I definitely think that would have worked too. But I think it speaks more to the message of the movie by showing like nothing has changed.
Yeah.
After all of this shit, nothing changed.
Well, and now they're down to 2. They don't have 4 of them. They have 2 of them that you're gonna have to con with, and there's no way.
If they even want to con.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they might just have to fucking forget.
The mom seems over it. Yeah,
like
the
you
mom
don't even
seems
hear her say like, "Are we gonna save my husband?" Or
but also she's crying over the sister, and like obviously there's a connection there of like we lost her. Like, this is it. So like, she seemed done.
Can you remind me where it like legitimately goes to credit? Is it when he comes out and hugs him?
Nope. No. The camera floats down and it's him in his house in the basement
writing the letter.
Yeah, like even though there was that whole
thing of
montage of him buying the house and walking through the house, it's the same present moment of him starting the response to his father.
There could have been 3 endings. There could have been the one we got, the Morse code one, or this one where he walks out and hugs him, and it still kind of alludes,
ends there,
and it kind of alludes to like people would be like, wait, he was writing the letter, do you think that really happened? He's like narrating the letter. Maybe that would have been too on the nose. People would have been like, oh no, he definitely bought the house.
When they show him going to view the house, I was like, oh fuck, he did it.
Yeah, like, so did I was like because you wanted him to like.
I didn't think so at all.
No, really.
And like, this might be my bias for certain film experiences, but I do not like the trend of ambiguous endings in American film, especially now, because like all I see it is like, leaving room for a sequel.
Yeah,
like, This was so definitive. Like,
exactly.
It doesn't matter if he eventually bought the house and got his dad out. Like, it doesn't matter what the next part of this story is. The story is over because it told what it needed to tell, and it reinforced what it needed to reinforce.
And people got hurt. Like,
there's
no
and there's no
repairing
reason
that.
for it.
Yeah,
like, there's no changing it. There's no repercussions. There's nothing. Nothing will change what happened.
So I definitely like the ending too. I wasn't mad about it. I think it was unique though, and I like it, and it was well done. Like, I love the visual
masterpiece.
I love, him writing it, and then you kind of fantasizing again, like, oh God, he did do it, and then you're like, no, he didn't fucking do it. Like you think you think to yourself when you when it shows him in the room at the end, you're like, oh, I'm an idiot. Like, like, why would I think they already did it?
Yeah. Like this fast. Yeah.
And it kind of alludes to you waking yourself up.
Exactly,
from that,
right?
Because that is
like,
everyone's
snap
experience.
Out of it, dude.
Like, you're not gonna be a fucking millionaire. Like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, sorry.
You're right.
So, great movie. What's gonna do final shot count? Alex, you know how it works here, right? 5 is blackout drunk. 5 out of 5. 0 shots
sober.
would be the best movie ever.
0 shots would be the best movie ever.
Yeah, where you need to be sober, and you want to. You don't need alcohol to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's do it. Nicole, Alex, you up?
Alex, go first.
I'll give it 0 shots. I would go into this movie stone cold sober. I was not when I saw it, but
yeah, I know. Yeah, Fillmore were just like.
I definitely didn't need to be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely 0 shots. This is like my favorite movie of 2019.
I'm going 0 as well.
Fuck.
Need to be 0, not only because you need to read. So if you're blacked out drunk, you're not gonna know what's going on.
To our reviews, guys.
Unless when you get drunk, you know how to speak Korean. But
somehow,
wow, I understand everything they're saying.
Yeah.
But 0 because it is really good. It's gonna be my favorite foreign film, even though I'm not, I don't have a whole resume of them, but. Right now, it sits at the top, and I'd love to explore his other options, like Okja, that has Jake Gyllenhaal, so you gotta see it.
Is Jake Gyllenhaal a no-no for you, or
no? He's a
major.
He's the reason we're gonna watch it.
Yeah, he's the only reason, but he's probably barely in it, right? Can you reinforce that? Is he in it a lot?
I think he's in it a lot.
He's not like a
huge
massive main character.
Yeah.
Like the relationship between the young girl and the character. That's really where the movie lies.
Steven Yeun, Glenn,
yeah,
from The Walking Dead.
Glenn. Yeah, I forgot he's in it.
He's a very big supporting character.
Okay,
for sure.
Awesome. Well, 0 shots all around here.
Way to start off the new year.
We're going into
it can only
Parasite.
go down from here.
It can.
Good to be a part of it.
We're
right?
going into Parasite completely sober. We hope you guys do as well. If you saw it, please reach out to us on social media. Let us know what your shot counter was.
I was surprised by the votes that we got, that people saw it on our
Yeah,
Instagram.
we put it up on Instagram.
Yeah.
It was positive.
Yeah.
There were some no's.
Yeah.
But I was expecting
Surprised
that.
me.
So
yeah.
It's one of those movies where the hype is so high. Like ultimately, some people are not going to.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of weird.
Some people are contrarian that way, where like they almost
Yeah,
can't
it's
believe that a
hyped.
movie is that. Big.
Yeah, but you could
Believe the
even
hype,
But
guys.
it is.
Yeah.
Like it is. It
Yeah.
warrants all of the praise.
you
that
could
it's
even
Absolutely.
you could even play the other side and be like, oh, I'm not going to go see a foreign film, and then the hype's so big and you're like, oh, I'm going to go see it now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people are talking about it, let's go freaking
It's
see
fucking
it.
2020. Go see a
So,
foreign film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go see the foreign film.
Yeah.
Support them.
Knock it off the list.
And,
And
cross it
comment
off
when
your
you do.
Yeah. But we do appreciate you guys listening. If you need or if you want to go follow Alex, he's got some awesome Instagram photos.
Very positive.
It's
Your stories
AS
always make me
Like
happy.
AS
life affirming.
Yeah.
Toski, AS Toski,
Toski?
Yeah.
Toski.
Toski.
It's
Yeah.
ASTOCHI.
ASTOSCHI.
I missed
Eh.
the S.
You're good,
I like
Sam.
that.
And you guys can follow him on Instagram and make sure to like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
All
We'll
those
tag
good
him in
things.
our post, so
Keep
you can
tuning
follow
into
him there.
Film Crawl.
Yeah.
They do amazing work.
Keep
These guys
listening.
This guy promotes the hell out of us, and
He
I
does.
appreciate
Yeah.
it
I'll
so
keep
much.
upselling and market them to the day I die.
Yeah, your
Alex.
experience here hopefully
Oh
reinforced
yeah,
that.
I love listening to you guys. It's been great being
Aw.
Yeah.
on and
I
talking
really-
about
Having
one of my
you.
favorite movies of
Yeah.
last year. It's right there with Midsommar, man. Like
I gotta see that.
I know we got to see that.
And
I'd
it's
love
gonna-
to talk about that movie.
And
with you guys.
the Oscar campaign for it is pretty.
I know, but it
Remember
didn't
that
get
post we
any-
saw?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, huge honor having you on.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you
So
so
fun.
much.
Thank you, guys.
We'll have to
Appreciate
have
it.
you back, obviously.
I would
but-
anytime you want it. I'd love to come on and talk about movies. I love
Awesome. And yeah, guys, keep listening, keep downloading. You're making it happen, and
Record.
maybe you'll be a founding crawler on the Patreon
Maybe
page.
you'll be a guest.
Maybe you'll be a guest.
Let's get these guys blown up on 2020.
Aw, thanks.
All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.